Welcome back to The Muster Point, the podcast where veterans regroup, relive the madness, and occasionally confess to things that probably still echo through a mess bar somewhere. I'm Stu Mendelson, ex-Royal Engineer, unofficial social secretary for most unit piss-ups, and a man who once invented a cocktail out of ration juice and regret.
And I'm Steve Black, former 2nd Royal Tank Regiment, full-time co-host, part-time liver abuse survivor. If you've ever tried to piece together a Friday night using only wallet receipts and a bruised elbow, you're in good company.
Today's episode is a bit of a head spinner, literally. We're diving into the military drinking culture, the glory, the grief, and the grim realisation that civvy life doesn't always come with a naffy bar or cheap vodka in a water bottle.
Let's be honest, alcohol in the forces wasn't just a drink. It was a ritual, a bonding session, a way to celebrate, commiserate, or just forget that you've just been stitched up on a weekend guard duty again.
And for a lot of us, it followed us out. Sometimes as good memories, sometimes as habits we didn't quite clock until the hangovers lasted longer than the nights out.
So today, we're unpacking it all. The unit nights out that became legend, the daft traditions, the mess dress carnage, and also the darker side most people don't talk about. Because behind the banter, there's a serious conversation to be had.
This is the muster point, where the beer was cheap, the nights were legendary, and the after effects, well, we're still figuring those out.
Right, grab a brew, crack a can, or just settle in. Let's talk about the one thing that's united us all, whether we liked it or not, booze.
All right, Steve, it feels like we were only here about 4 days ago.
I think we was.
So today's Friday. What date is it? I've got my head's up my arse.
The 21st.
Number 8 only went out last night, didn't it?
Yeah.
And we're recording again.
We don't mess about.
We don't fuck about, do we?
The cur's all massive.
It's mainly because, Steve's inconsiderately got work next week, so we can't do it on our usual day, which is a Monday.
I'm tempted to just jack it all in and go on the dole.
Why not? Why not, indeed? The nation likes to look after our veterans, so you'll be all right, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I'm sure I will be.
Yeah.
Just go and beg on the streets. And...
Yeah, exactly. So you've been on nights the last few days. Oh,
nights.
Does that work? Oh, yeah, nights. Anything happen? Any coke stories?
Line 2 rapper packed up last night. We bodged it together and got it up and running.
Oh, yeah. Did you see Chizzard at all?
No.
Have you spoke to Chizzard? He's gone AWOL.
I don't like him, to be honest. Yeah. I blocked him.
Oh,
yeah. To be fair, I didn't get the outcome I wanted in the poll.
Yeah.
So I just blocked him.
Yeah, because that's it. The poll closed and, well, there was a majority.
He dipped out one of the other bosses at my place, Aaron Baker.
Oh, yeah. You got a story about it, have you?
Well, he was dicking him out. I can't even say it. He was dipping him out for not finishing.
Dipping him?
Dipping him out.
What? Dipping or dicking?
Dipping him out.
Right.
Having a pop at him.
Oh, right, okay. Sorry.
He was moaning about him because he didn't finish his basic training because he got injured, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Aaron reckons, he didn't do that long, but what he did was harder than what the RAF do their whole career.
Shots fired.
I know, yeah. So I think they should have it out and we should film it.
Yeah, definitely. That'd be good.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, we'll raise a bit of money for it.
Yeah.
In terms of raising money, so we're going ahead with the Muster Point VE Day 80th anniversary celebrations, which is the Sunday, the 11th of May, 12 p.m. till 3 p.m. at Fairlands Valley Park Lakes in Stevenage.
Even the ref reg are welcome.
Yep. Everyone's welcome. Bring your family, bring your missus, bring your kids, bring your
Chihuahua.
Bring your dog, yeah. We're going to have, what we're going to have there, Steve?
Arts and crafts.
That's your favourite, isn't it? Yeah.
You know when
is that because obviously crayons are part of arts and crafts?
Yeah, they taste so good. I think, you know when you have that thing when you can throw sponges at people?
Oh, yeah.
I think we should do that with Chizzard in it, but we'll swap the sponges for bricks.
What did you call that?
Brick or ref reg. Charge £1 a go.
Yeah. Raise loads of money. We're going to have a bouncy castle there and some games for the kids and some food.
Yeah.
The local biker gang, the Chaotic Angels. That sounds a lot more violent than they actually are. They're a lovely group of people that raise money and they bring food for on our Tuesday morning group for the veterans to take away. So they're going to bring some bikes down. If you like that sort of thing.
Yep. We need to speak to a mod group and get some scooters down, let them have a fight. We'll raise some money.
Yeah, you're very violent today, aren't you? Bloody hell. Oh, this is a family event, mate.
Oh, yeah, true. We'll do it around the back of the year.
Yeah. We've had a few people inquiring about setting up muster points in their local area, haven't we?
Yeah.
And I don't know. You don't need our permission to set something up. Like, what would you advise them?
Well, like, we can help anyone. We can share our experience,
Yeah.
our plan, how we did it. More than happy to share that with anyone.
But remember, we're a couple of rogues as well, weren't we? Like...
One thing I would say is just make sure you can commit to it or however you're going to do it, weekly, monthly, whatever it is. And I'd say have a few people that you can rely on.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's me and you, but we've got Chizard as well, dips in and out.
Yeah.
I like the word dip today. But yeah, so we can guarantee that it always happens.
Yeah, that's the thing. I guess it's finding a venue.
You need that consistency.
Reaching out to your local council, because your local council should have a armed forces champion.
Yeah, especially the people who've spoke to us. I think they come from sort of places where there is a lot of veterans.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like you said, reach out to the council, get their backing, try and get some funding out of them.
Yeah. So we pay, well, we don't pay personally, but the funding we got paid is £20 an hour.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, £20 an hour.
For the room. So but that's 40 quid.
Yeah. And then we get another hour for free.
Yeah.
For
For
setting up.
Anyway. You need to beg, borrow, steal, or use funding for tea, coffee, biscuits and all that.
We got it off a few people. My work, my boss, she kindly gave us, I think it was 1,200 tea bags.
Nice. A few brews, that, innit?
Yeah, thousands of sachets of coffee.
Because obviously Steve gets like 4 brews out of one tea bag, the pervert. Talking of tea bags, you said to me, because you were on nights last night, and I've been down in London at college, you said, right, come round mine and wake me up with a tea bag while I'm in bed, didn't you?
I did. I was looking forward to it, but you didn't.
I didn't, nah. I was running late.
The other day you bought me a bacon sandwich. I was looking forward to a nice tea bagging. But, never mind.
But yeah, so I guess it's just, you have to have a bit of willpower, and it's not easy, is it?
Yeah, because we obviously spoke about it. You mentioned about, someone who's got one, who set one up, and it was in like a church hall. And we were quite happy with it. Anywhere would have done.
Yeah.
And it's only because when we done the Armed Forces Day last year, I'd done a stand for SAFA, and the local councillor, who was one of the local councillors, the Armed Forces champion, made herself aware to me.
Yeah.
That I contacted her, and like I say, she got the ball rolling for us, really.
Yeah, without that, we have been fortunate. We've landed on our feet a bit.
Yeah, I think we just got the right people at the right time, really. Whereas other people we spoke to said they didn't get any help at the council.
But it's still, if you want to do it, if you think there's a need for it, it's just about having that, being dogged and approaching your council, finding out who the right people to talk to are, and then advertising it. And yeah, good luck to you.
Yeah, and like we mentioned, I think it was last week about or a couple of weeks ago, that you got that Armed Forces football or military veterans football club.
Yeah.
Don't have to have a breakfast club, just some sort of social gathering.
Yeah. That's it, isn't it?
Could be a fishing club, anything.
Yeah, it could be anything.
Yeah.
And now talking of the football, so Good Friday.
Whatever date that is.
So I've been commissioned to referee. Who is it? The Royal Tank Regiment
Royal
veterans.
Tank Regiment versus Watford veterans.
Yeah.
So I presume there's veterans who live in Watford or surrounding areas.
And I'm a bit troubled by it because obviously I'm a Luton Town fan and our biggest rivals are Watford, so I might be a bit biased.
Make sure your blind eye is on their side.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
Yeah,
the tanky side. Sorry.
Yeah.
But anyone's welcome. We don't know the exact venue yet.
Oh, is it undisclosed?
Undisclosed, yeah. But
you got to phone a burner phone to find out the details.
Yeah, and then it'll be written on the back of the toilet door, South Limbs Services, next to your number.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then after that, at 3:00, Watford are playing Burnley.
Yeah.
So if there's any Burnley fans coming down who are veterans, get in touch.
Yeah. Excellent.
We'll sort you out.
Got anything else, Steve?
Yeah. I spoke to Rab.
Yeah.
He uses his cell phone.
Who's Rab? He's our American fan.
Yeah, from Plymouth. He lives in Florida.
And what did you say the other day? He likes it long.
He likes it long. He's married to an American, and her family think he's foreign. But they keep saying how well his English is coming on.
What?
Because he's from Plymouth.
Bloody hell.
So that really friendly Plymouth farmer accent. But anyway, yeah.
It's a bit rude and ignorant of the Yanks to...
They are Yanks, though, aren't they?
Yeah, true.
I don't realise. Yeah, anyway, he told me he uses contactless payments on his cell phone.
Oh, right,
so
okay.
They've really moved with the times. Well done, the Yanks.
Well done. Shall we have a round of applause for them?
other news with Rab. He's in a bit of a bad way. He was out roller skating along. I think he had, the headphones with the aerial with the radio he used to wear. Anyway, he's roller skating.
Like a Hulk Hogan sort of bright yellow vest and red swim shorts. And
like was it Bret Hitman Hart sunglasses? But anyway, he was roller skating down Daytona Beach. And he got sunburnt.
Yeah.
They said it's cold out there at the minute. It's 26 degrees.
Oh God.
Tosser.
It's been the weather's been all right around here recent last few days, isn't it?
It's been chilly at night.
Yeah.
3 o'clock in the morning. It's a bit chilly, but it's not that cold.
Yeah.
Look after yourself, Rab.
Apply that sun cream.
Yeah. Or calamine lotion's really good for sunburn.
Oh, is it?
When we first got to Afghanistan, we was getting our vehicles ready for about a week. We were at our tops off, and I had blisters on my shoulders.
Yeah.
And his bootneck, who we took over from, he went, I have this bottle. And it was calamine lotion.
Yeah.
And I was shitting myself because a couple of days later we was going out on the ground, body armour, all that kit on.
That would have been horrendous, wouldn't it?
But I put the calamine lotion on, and it was within a day it was better. I recommend calamine lotion for sunburn.
I've said it before, it's a chargeable offence to get sunburn in the military. But we spoke punishments last week, didn't we?
Yeah, we're not going over that again.
Right, moving on to the icebreaker question for this week is, do you think military drinking culture was harmless bonding or quietly destructive?
Good question, Stu. I think a bit of both.
Yeah.
I think it's great when you're in the army and you can get pissed and no one gives a shit. You can turn up at work half pissed, no one gives a shit. But when you leave the army, that habit carries on.
Yeah. You think people join the military younger. You're a young man or woman, aren't you? You're more open to partying. I mean, but then saying that, there's seniors that still do it and partake in the old drinking culture.
I don't know, but I'd imagine now it's probably a bit worse because I'd imagine the youngsters, and I know this from work, a lot of the young lads, they don't drink because it's so expensive.
Yeah.
And I think because of COVID, the generation that are sort of 18, 19 now, they don't go out drinking. They go for meals and play PlayStation.
Yeah.
So I'd imagine the senior ranks are probably the ones in their messes where it's cheap. Because I know, I've mentioned him, my third cousin is in the Royal Tank Regiment. He's in Badger Squadron. And I wanted to give him a shout, actually. Trooper Skilling, his crew, one top crew in their range period. So that tank crew, they do it's called an annual crew test. You go down the range, obviously shoot targets in it. And their crew won. I think it was 2-3 Alpha, their call sign.
Okay.
So well done.
And what did they win?
A pair of cufflinks, probably. I won it once and I never got nothing. I was a bit pissed off. So, yeah. Anyway, he don't drink.
Oh, didn't he?
And he's a Geordie, which I thought was weird.
Bloody hell.
Yeah. Didn't know Geordies were allowed to not drink.
Yeah. How old is he?
About 20, I think.
Okay.
19, 20.
Well, and he doesn't get the piss taken out of him for not drinking it.
I don't know. I've only met him once, and that was in London a little while ago.
Yeah.
It was at the planting of the crosses at Westminster Abbey. Like the tank regiment sent a detachment, and he was part of them. And I said to him, "Are you having a drink?" And he went, "No, I don't drink." And I said, "You're a Geordie. What's going on?"
And he's related to you.
And he's related to me.
You must have been mortified, right?
Yeah, that side of the family are all big drinkers because they're Geordies.
Yeah.
It's in their blood. Well, they've got blood in their alcohol system.
Yeah.
But anyway, don't drink. And, fair play.
I think about this question and it's like, it was bonding. I don't know. To me, even in hindsight, with all my problematic drinking since leaving, I wouldn't change it. No, and I wouldn't sit here on my high horse going, "Oh, the army shouldn't be doing that," because there was that massive brotherhood, sisterhood, camaraderie thing of drinking, wasn't there?
Yeah. I know things have changed. Yeah, I reckon in my regiment, say it was, 400 or 500 blokes. I reckon less than 5 people didn't drink.
Yeah.
It was it weren't frowned upon.
And one of them was the padre.
Yeah. But if you didn't drink, you just didn't get involved in nothing.
Yeah.
You just stayed in a room. To be fair, you wouldn't want to get involved if you didn't drink because we was always so pissed.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been fun if you weren't pissed. Yeah, if you were sober, it wouldn't have been fun.
It is a hard one. I mean, as I said, it's easy for me to sit here and in hindsight see where it went all wrong. But yeah, I wouldn't change it for the world, and I certainly wouldn't tell anyone to stop.
And everyone I've spoke to, and a couple of people sent their story in, if you like, about their drink, and they've all said that they wouldn't change it. They had some brilliant times.
Yeah,
best time.
Memories are made, don't they?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the icebreaker question. So moving on to a bit of armed forces and veterans news. Do you have anything, Steve?
Nothing major, really. Obviously, we're going about the Ukraine thing all the time, but whatever.
Look, on the point of Ukraine, and it's just everywhere in the media, innit? Do you know old Arthur? So he brought up a interesting one on Tuesday at the Muster Point breakfast where, I mean, for all Trump's strangeness and all his failings and that, he seems to be he wants peace.
Yeah,
he doesn't want to put troops on the ground. He wants to find another way. And then when you look at Europe and this, what are they calling themselves? The collaboration of humanity or the collaboration of the willing or whatever fucking fairy tale story they're coming up with.
A bunch of tossers.
They're like the ones driving for...
Yeah. But I know it's like Italy and Spain. They're not having nothing to do with it. They're not getting involved.
Yeah.
Why are we getting involved? No, we're nowhere near Ukraine. Let Europe deal with it. Now, the way they treat us, especially after Brexit, let them fight their own battles in.
Arthur said it's about, obviously, Europe's skint, innit? So it's like, we all know war is a big money maker. But obviously there's a consequence to that.
Yeah.
It's not a throwaway comment. Well, like when a prime minister turns around and says, I'm putting boots on the ground, that has consequences.
Yeah.
It's not just, oh, yeah, we're going to put boots on the ground. Like, it's, again, and I like to say it, it's rich people playing war with the blood of the poor.
It's all right putting these blokes in sangers and, guarding the border, but what happens when someone gets shot, a rogue Russian, the NATO troops return fire? And
Yeah.
it's just asking for trouble, I think.
I'm just saying, obviously, what Arthur brought up, and I think he made a good point, that for all Trump's failings, he does seem to be wanting to come to a peaceful resolution, whereas Europe seems to be pushing for war almost, because
mobilising troops. If Germany's economy is now focused on arms manufacturing.
Yeah, because you think like that's going to antagonise the Russians. Because if I stood in your garden with my dick out waving it round, it's going to piss you off, isn't it? Yeah. And if we're relating it to penises, Europe's dick is very small, isn't it?
But Putin said that. He said, NATO has just got closer and closer.
Yeah.
It's expanding. And it did start this war. Well, he reckons he didn't. But anyway, this war started. And then you've got the Scandinavian countries all joining NATO. I don't know. I'd say politicians.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Tell us what you think, people. If you've got any, if you know anything, or if you've got any views on that, let us know.
Good if Bingo lets us know, because he's out there at the minute.
Yeah, you got more news.
Well, just some strange stuff, really.
Go on.
The MOD.
We like strange.
The MOD has announced how many SA-80 rifles.
Do you know what? I saw this as well. Go on.
The Ministry of Defence personnel. Is 180,000 people, including reserves. That's everyone. And I know not everyone uses a rifle. Some have a GMP, mini-me's, whatever. But there's only 180,000 people. We've only got 166,120 rifles. Actually, I'm talking nonsense.
That's not like you, Steve.
Yeah, hang on. I wrote down a load of bollocks. But anyway, there's not enough rifles nowhere near enough SA-80 rifles for the amount of troops we've got.
Well, I see the same article, and we've done kit and equipment, didn't we, recently? And we spoke about when we joined up, so in basic training, we had the SA-80 A1, and by the time we got to our units, the A2 was there. On the story I saw, the British Army's still got SA-80 A1s knocking around, and a substantial amount of them.
And there's still one SLR. it's in quarantine.
Oh, is it?
On the books, they've still got one SLR, so all the old blokes can live in.
Get hard on about it. that one's for you, George. Yeah. Just think you're dreaming about that one SLR, getting your hands on it. Ugh.
The artillery are getting 15 new MLRS systems.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know, but they are built on a Bradley chassis.
Okay.
It's an extended chassis of a Bradley.
So like an armoured vehicle.
Yeah, armoured personnel carrier. We're getting 15 new ones from the Americans.
Nice.
Yeah, so
that's to go with our 3 new Apaches.
Yeah, so we're going to have 85 of them.
Wow.
Plus some in reserves, which we haven't got a number. But so we're going to have 85. The Americans have got 991.
You love comparing stats with the Yanks, didn't you?
And I know you can't compare with us in America, but yeah. Well, I remember being told them MLRS, they can take out a grid square.
Yeah.
If they fire all their missiles. So that's quite an asset to have, I suppose. And they do the GMLRS.
Okay. What's that stand for?
Guided multi-launch missile thingy.
Thingy-majig.
Which ain't very good, because I don't actually remember it, but my mate Bill Skilling was telling me, and a couple of people confirm this. When we was in Afghanistan, one of the ambulances got blown up.
Yeah.
And we couldn't get to it to deny it because it's too dangerous. So the artillery bloke went, I'll sort that out, don't you worry. So he called in this GMLRS missile, 100 grand a pop, missed it.
Brilliant.
So I think that's getting Apache or something to blow it up to deny it.
Well, the artillery are famous for missing their target, aren't they?
And running away.
And running away.
And putting their lanyard on the wrong arm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Splitters.
Yeah.
Soldier magazine's 80 years old.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't know this, but it was started by Field Marshal Bernard Montgomery,
Nice.
the man who wore the tank regiment's beret.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. If anyone's listening that's involved with Soldier Magazine, I did send them a press release about the podcast. No one got back to me, though.
Oh, they sent me a load of magazines.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Wankers. Maybe you should send the press release.
Yeah, I might do. They're my mate.
Yeah.
The other thing is the MOD are offering, they're looking for a new manager to manage like the restructuring, rearming of the British forces. They're offering a salary of between 290 grand and 400 grand.
Fuck me.
That's a big difference, isn't it? And it's a civil servant job.
Yeah.
And they're
So what's the role, sorry?
to basically manage the rearming of the British Army or British forces.
Okay.
But on top of that, so potentially 400 grand salary, which I don't think's it's a lot of money, but it's a big job. You know, if you're going to get the right person in, fair enough. But then they could get a 60% bonus, which could mean they're on 640 grand a year
Yeah.
for a civil servant. Like, I don't think that's acceptable. Like,
So-
the Prime Minister's only on about 170 grand a year.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm thinking a couple of things are coming up for me here. So by the fact that they're having to employ someone to rearm the British Armed Forces means that up until this point, or the British Armed Forces haven't been armed
Yeah.
or have been
yeah.
lacking in armament or whatever you want to call it. And the other thing is, there's a possibility that he may fail in his job.
Yeah.
If you're having to incentivise with a bonus.
Well, I'd imagine all these big companies, you know, the likes of MBDA, BAE, Airbus,
Yeah.
they're going to be rubbing around together because the government announced this big increase.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'd imagine they're going to be lobbying or whatever they do. You know, they're taking. I'd imagine all the MPs be getting taken out for a bit of lunch and
Yeah.
treated to, you know, some nice holidays and stuff, whatever they do.
Well, I'm sure that'll be illegal for an MP to do that. It's all governed, but there's always a back way for these big companies.
It's illegal to beat someone up, and when they go around carry on beating them. But an MP did a little while ago.
Oh, yeah.
And got sentenced to prison. Didn't go. I think it's 3 days in prison,
yeah.
and he's still an MP.
Yeah.
So
Oh, is he?
I'm pretty sure he's still an MP because they can't sack him. He has to resign, and I'm pretty sure he hasn't resigned.
But surely that's like if you filled someone in and it was all over the media, Coke would be like, "I'm sorry, Mr. Black, like you've brought the company into disrepute."
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I saw that.
MPs just do what they want, don't they? You had that other, I know when an MP, that councillor, shouting and hollering about cutting people's throats.
What? I've missed this.
Yeah,
Go
he's
on.
the Dartford MP. I've got his name now, Labour MP. Yeah, when all them riots were happening, he was shouting and hollering about cutting their throats. And all these lefties next to him were all giggling and laughing. And he said, hang on a minute, what's that all about? I know people
I ain't being funny. Recently, all to do with those riots, didn't people get like jail time for like posting their thoughts on Facebook?
Years in prison as well.
Right. Fucking hell. Oh, you've hurt me with your words.
I know you shouldn't be allowed to say horrible things as such, and some of the things are unacceptable. Saying you know, burning mosques and that, it's not acceptable.
Well, there's a difference between inciting hatred and expressing an opinion.
Yeah.
Oh,
It just seems to be one way.
yeah. Yeah, I think it's also worth mentioning that the unexplained death of a Royal Naval serviceman, where did you say it was? Down in
HMS Raleigh
HMS Raleigh.
in Cornwall.
Yeah. Isn't Raleigh, I'm sure HMS Raleigh's where the Navy do their officer cadet training.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. If there's any Matlows out there, you got any information on this and what Raleigh does. But yeah, it's sad. Steve and I couldn't find that much more details about it, could we? So
Whatever the outcome, our thoughts are with their family, friends, and their mates who was in training with them.
Right, any other news, Steve?
No, I think that's about it.
I think this is a couple of episodes now where we've, in terms of military and veteran news, it's just filled with the Ukraine stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think I did see the other day that Israel have fired rockets into Gaza again, so that's kicking off. It's just sad, I think. Fucking sad. All right, coming on to the listener sit rep. So any stories that have come in, any questions, it can be to do with anything. Doesn't have to be about this week's episode.
Andy from the Breakfast Club, the Mustard Point Breakfast
Oh, yeah.
Club, He reckons Rorke's Drift only happened
Yeah.
because the Zulus were sick of the Welsh singing.
All right. Okay.
So Andy knows what he's on about. So
Yeah. Well, you would, wouldn't you? Have you ever been to a rugby game where the Welsh lads are all together singing, like, was it Delilah and all that shit?
yeah, I think if I was a Zulu, I'd have thrown spears.
Yeah, I'd have probably thrown more than a spear.
Yeah. Throw leeks and daffodils.
I had a story off our good mate Mick Knowles. Oh, I was waiting for you to say Little Mick.
I'm sorry, my mate Little Mick.
Yeah, your mate.
Who ain't got back to us about the wedgehead.
Oh no. Well,
there must be a few Royal Engineers.
Yeah, wedgeheads. What's that all about? Who knows?
Who knows?
Right, so Mick told me about a punishment. I'll cut it down because he went on for fucking ever, right?
Northerner.
Yeah, exactly. What's the Yorkshire war cry?
How fucking much?
Basically, I know we had a few last week about people throwing up and shitting themselves while getting thrashed. Well, this was on the similar lines to what happened to Mick. He ended up throwing up everywhere. He basically went green. He was that dehydrated that he pinched his skin and it lost all elasticity. He basically blanked out for like the best part of 12 hours while getting thrashed. Like his body was all over the place. He'd shit himself. The boys had to pick him up, put him in the bath and wash the shit off him. And this is when he come round and that is like, what the fuck are you doing to me? And they're like, Mick, like you've just shit yourself everywhere. And it turns out that he actually had salmonella food poisoning and then got thrashed.
Was that from that one sausage?
Oh, yeah.
One fucking sausage.
One fucking sausage. But yeah, it sounds fucking... Imagine that waking up and...
I see a picture a little while ago. It looked like a range stew type thing, but it had chicken in it. And it was bright pink chicken.
Yeah.
In range stew. Looked nice.
Yeah.
If you like pink chicken.
Oh,
it's great for weight loss.
Yeah, I bet it is. But have you ever, like, woken up in the bath being washed by your friends? Did that go on in the Royal Tank Regiment?
No, it's frowned upon.
Yeah.
We didn't wash. Wet wipes only.
Wet wipes.
We didn't have showers in our blocks or the bath.
Don't. I'll tell you one. So we had like a couple of baths in our block and you just didn't go in them.
Flash
like,
wankers.
Nobody fucking went in them because everyone used to wank in them, right? And I remember one weekend we were all going out. My mate, saying that, it's the same mate that I got nicked with at this funeral from last week's episode. So he came up to camp and I signed him in camp and he come out on the piss with the lads and that. And as I said last week, he's a bit of a hand grenade, so he went missing, right? Anyway, he's made his own way back to camp and that. And like we got him in, he's like fucking scurrying around the gate, like looking all suspicious. And so we got him back into camp and I've got him in the room and now I've gone, sort your fucking shit out. Anyway, we've both got our nuts down. Anyway, I hear my door go. And he's got up and I'm like, oh, fucking hell, whatever he's doing, like, let him crack on. It turns out he's got up at about 4:00 in the morning and gone to the ablutions, run himself a bath and had a bath. And
in the spunky bath?
In the spunky bath. Yeah, howling.
This one's probably for little Mick, actually.
Oh.
I was bored on nights this week and I thought, what did the Royal Engineers do? So apparently there's a Royal Engineer that designed a Royal Albert Hall.
Yep. Do you know what as well? So my trade in the Royal Engineers was a surveyor and he was a Royal Engineer surveyor as well, I believe.
That's really amazing. It makes me proud.
Yeah.
Pentonville Prison.
Yeah.
Another one. Royal Engineer designed that. And apparently that was like well ahead of his time. I think it's well behind his time now. And also, the Royal Engineers were the ones who put the boundaries on maps.
Yep.
So they made the borders.
Yeah, surveyor done that again. So we... Originally, when the Royal Engineers was first formed, it was made up of officers. And the Royal Engineers were commissioned, so they'd done the entire mapping of the UK and India.
Ah, apparently, it was a Royal Engineer that built Stonehenge. Called it a Mick.
We're going to fact check that.
So well done, the Royal Engineers.
Well done, big up.
Yeah. What's their motto?
Ubeek.
Very nice.
Yeah. So it's funny you say about the Royal Engineers motto and Ubeek. And wanting to know what it means because we've got a Royal Engineers themed quiz today. So we're going to ring my mate Tom and he's going to be going up against your mate Little Mick.
Oh.
Who we're going to give him...
What we're calling it, the big wedge head off.
Yeah, the big wedge head off.
We've got to find out what wedge head, or where, is it actually a word or is it just me and bingo?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we need to find that out. And we'll speak to Mick later on Although saying that, I spoke to him the other day, which when he come down and met me, so there's a bit of jiggery pokery going on with the editing. But when you say
I call it
showbiz, that's it. So interestingly, Tom, my mate Tom, who we're going to speak to now, and he's got a bit of a wedge head. His nickname was Pud Pud because he always went up for 2 puddings. Oh dear! Right, let's speak to him.
Hello?
Tom, so you've agreed to do the Royal Engineers quiz, and obviously your combatant is Mick Knowles, who's already done it.
Oh, you didn't say I was going up against the big Mick,
The T-Rex.
the T-Rex.
So how are you feeling about the challenge you're going up against the man, the myth, the legend that is Mick Knowles?
To be fair, mate, the man, the myth, the legend is very much a legend in my eyes, mate.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to be on my A game to even get close to him.
He was telling me the other day when he come down to see me that he came down to Bryce Norton to pick you up when you was injured.
He did, mate. Yeah, he was the duty. Well, he won the duty drives. Some Sprog was, but yeah, he come down, mate.
So what does that mean? You had to spend the best part of 6 hours in the car with him?
Well, mate, to be honest with you, I thought I was going to what do you call it? Is it Selly Oak, the Birmingham Hospital? And so on my air med back, literally I'm lying there, morphine down my tits, basically on a stretcher, can't move. They're saying, don't fucking move, you're going to Bryce, blah, blah, blah. Sally Oak. And they literally landed, bunged me in a wheelchair and went, Staff Sergeant Mick Knowles is outside waiting for you. You got the duty wheels all the way back to Leaming. I went, what the fuck? And literally, I spent probably about, I don't know how many hours it was back then, probably 4 hours in the back of a car,
man.
lying down, no seatbelt on, off my nut. And Mick's like, I'm sorry, mate. If I'd known this, I would have bought a flatbed.
You got treated like shit, didn't you? Like the rest of us, I guess.
Oh, massively, mate.
But anyway, we'll go into that on another occasion. It's all right. You ready for this, are you?
Yeah.
Let's test your knowledge. Right, you ready then?
Yeah, bring it on, mate. Bring it on.
Question number 1. What is the nickname of the Royal Engineers?
I'm going to go Sapper.
Okay. Now, question number 2. What does the motto Ubeek mean?
Ubeek?
Ubeek, yeah.
Oh, that's easy, mate.
Go on.
Everywhere.
Well done. Which year were the Royal Engineers officially formed?
Oh, mate.
And I can let you into a little secret. Mick Knowles struggled with this.
God, fucking hell. God, pass. Oh, my God. 1716?
Oh, here's another easy one for you. Question number 4. What colour is the Royal Engineers stable belt?
Oh, like maroon and blue?
Say again?
Or like a maroon, blue, and a blue?
Okay. Question number 5. What was the major contribution of Donald Bailey, a Royal Engineer, during World War II? It's quite easy, this one.
Donald Bailey.
Clues in the name, mate.
It's the clues in the name, isn't it? He's got to be building the famous Bailey Bridge, mate.
Oh. Question number 6. Which Royal Engineer officer played a key role in the real Battle of Rorke's Drift, famously depicted in the film Zulu?
Is that where the old, don't throw those bloody spears at me? Sorry, mate. Lieutenant John Chard.
He sounds pretty confident with that one. Took a bit of time to think, though. Right.
Yeah, mate.
Question number 7. What does REST stand for in the Royal Engineers? What does REST or REST stand for?
I'm going to go with Royal Engineers Search Team.
Mm-hmm. Question number 8. What was Royal Engineer Officer Ernest Swinton credited with inventing? And this one's this one's to piss Steve off. I'll keep putting it in there.
With you saying that, Mando, but also I'm obviously a keen listener to the podcast, and we've actually been slating Steve to the hill. And obviously, the Royal Engineers are legendary renowned for obviously the lanyard from the artillery.
Yeah.
Also, we are the ones he is the one to build the first ever tank.
Right, question number 9.
Chin up, Steve.
Chin up, Steve. Yeah. Question number 9. How many Victoria Crosses have been awarded to the Royal Engineers?
I know they comment. I know it's not nothing to do with the question, but the title was we compared them to the Royal Marines.
Yeah.
And the Royal Marines VCs was 10, lad said, and for us, Royal Engineers was 36.
All right. Question number 10. What does MGOB stand for in the Royal Engineers? MGOB or MGOB?
Is a medium girder over bridge?
Well, you'll find out.
Mate, all I genuinely want is a mustard point cup or mug.
And to have your picture made into something weird and put on social media.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. I'll still look better than the Chizard, mate, even fucking now.
Less of digging out Chizard. These are the ladies' favourite, I'll have you know.
I have heard.
Thanks for that, mate. I'll speak to you next week sometime.
I look forward to hearing my Devonshire accent online.
Do it. Yeah, I'll see you later, mate. Take it easy.
Cheers, mate. Love you lot. Bye, pal.
Bye. Right, yeah, so that was Tom, or Pud. Obviously, we'll speak to Mick later on, but I've got a feeling he done all right.
That's a good effort.
He sounds proper West Country Plymouth way, doesn't he?
War.
Yeah.
But he likes his cider.
Oh, dear. Right. Is that it? That's it for that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right then. If you've made it through an episode all about booze and still haven't reached out, what are you waiting for? A message in a bottle? Whether it's a war story, a wild night out, a deep thought, or just to tell us we've lost the plot, here's how to get hold of us.
Yeah, just search The Muster Point on Facebook, TikTok, X or YouTube. We're the ones not trying to sell you protein powder or survival straws disguised as vape pens.
If you're old school or just prefer writing sober, drop us an email. steve@themusterpoint.org.uk or stuart@themusterpoint.org.uk. If you want a proper reply with a side of sarcasm and a life lesson, email me. If you want something between a therapy session and a meme dump, email Steve.
Yeah, I'm basically the digital version of a pub chat. Sometimes useful, mostly entertaining, occasionally worrying.
We're also on WhatsApp. Check the show notes or our socials for the number. Send us a voice note, a question, or that story your mates still talk about every time you meet up.
Life problems, banter, random nonsense, we're here for it all. I solve most issues with a bit of common sense and a custard cream.
So there's no excuse now. Email, socials, WhatsApp, and if you're loving the podcast, share it with your mates. You never know, it might be exactly what they need to hear between hangovers. Right, so we come to the main point of the show, Frontline Focus, where we're talking about booze. The good times, the bad times, the regretful times. What other times have we got? Hangovers. Hangovers played a massive part, didn't they?
You know what? I've never really had hangovers.
Fuck off.
No.
Really?
Very rarely get a hangover.
Oh. What's your trick? You got any advice for the listeners?
Just don't stop drinking.
Yeah, true.
No, I don't know. I've never really had hangovers.
No?
And I do mix my drinks.
Yeah.
I drink beer, but I do like a shot of whiskey or rum.
Yeah.
Little chaser, cheeky chaser.
Oh, yeah, nice. What are you drinking rum for? That's a naval drink, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, it's not. It's, you know.
I thought they like cocktails.
They like cock, don't they? What stories you got about the booze from your time in? We're going to start off with the good times and then we'll come on to the bad times later.
For me, it was nicking stuff, actually. That was my thing. I'm fucking pissed for it. If I go out and I've had a drink, I wake up with pool balls in my pockets. The white ball.
Yeah.
I'm one of them wankers. Or the Q tip. I don't even play pool, I just nick the tip. Fucking throw them down the drain as I walk at the pubs.
Annoying fucker.
Yeah, plants. I'm always getting my missus nice plants.
Well, you still do that to this day?
Yeah. Signs, ornaments.
Traffic cones?
No, I've never been a cone, man.
No?
A couple of years ago, I was in France with my mates and I nicked a 30-litre tub of peanuts.
As you do.
I'm allergic to peanuts, so weren't the best idea. But
no. So what was it like? Because you done a stint in Germany and the UK, didn't you?
Yeah, I was in Germany about 4 years.
So I'd done 10 weeks out in Germany when I was on my B1 combat engineer course out in Senelager, and it was rough, mate. So come on, you must have some stories.
On Part 1 orders, the squadron orders.
Yeah.
Every day the orders go up. And on a Friday afternoon they go up, and it would say everyone will attend the bar.
Yeah.
Didn't have to get pissed, but everyone had to be in the bar on a Friday afternoon. My regiment, the normal weekly routine would be Friday morning, everyone goes down to Tank Park, have a quick sweep up, tidy up, wash the cups up and that. And then we go for a regimental run, which was just like a 4 or 5 mile jog around the perimeter of the
Was
camp.
it on the Friday?
Yeah.
What is it, like combat PT?
No, it was just a nice gentle jog in the week. I'll say it's like 4 or 5 miles. Thinking of that now, I couldn't fucking do that. So, but it was quite a nice run.
Yeah.
We was all hungover from the night before, so it was sick everywhere. But it was quite easy, really. And so we'd do the regimental run, and then we'd normally go down the armoury and just quickly clean the rifles.
Yeah.
Just literally a quick wipe over. But the armoury was next to the bar. So we'd open the bar and clean the rifles in the bar.
Yeah.
And we're still in PT kit at this point.
So when I was out in Germany for those 10 weeks, obviously by this point I had mates that were posted to the different engineer regiments in Germany. So one weekend I'd done the old tours. So I went to Humour, where you were, near where you were, Osnabrück and that. Certainly Osnabrück, the squadron bars were below the accommodation.
Yeah, in the cellar, yeah. We had 5 squadrons, and then you had the Remy, the AGC, the band. They all had their own bars as well.
Bloody hell, yeah.
And then you had the NAFI bars, which every regiment had its own one, and then there was like a garrison one. I think it was called the Boar or the Lion. It changed names. So it was just bars everywhere. You could go in other regiments NAFIs, but a bit mad too, really. But we did, if you wanted to fight.
If you were up for it.
Yeah, but they'd have like singers and stuff come over, Remember that Chico? It's Chico time.
Yeah.
Like, I see him. Apparently, he shagged someone's wife. That's what I heard.
Fucking hell. I hope he got filled in or chased out of camp.
Yeah, no, like I say, it was drink. Everything was drink related in Germany. It was so cheap as well.
Yeah. I think we mentioned it before. You get your old, what's it called? Your tick list, ration list or whatever.
Yeah,
what was it?
Not for beer. It was
that was for cigarettes, was it?
Cigarettes, I think it was gin and whiskey.
Yeah.
It was cheap anyway, but you could only buy a certain amount. It was quite a lot though. I don't know off the top of my head, but I just know. I remember at one point, we'd like every camp had its own little naffy.
Yeah.
But then there was a big naffy, and it was like a supermarket, and it had SSVC, which was like the electrical. It was the British Forces electrical shop in Germany. It was like I say, it was like a proper supermarket, but you could buy a crate of lager. I think it was McEwen's IPA or something. It was like $4.95.
Yeah.
24 cans. It's disgusting, but it was $4.95.
Yeah.
But we used to get these crates of Kronenberg. It was not the little stumpy bottles you get in France. They were slightly bigger, probably 280ml, something like that. But that was about €6 or €7.
Yeah.
30 bottles, I think it was.
And because in Germany as well, you got paid to take the glass bottles back, didn't you?
Yeah, and we used to better phone. I know nowadays it's quite common, Uber Eats and all that, but you used to phone, I think in Fallingboston it was Funk Taxis, and you'd phone Funk Taxis, go, can I have a couple of crates of bottles of Foster's or something? And they'd drop it off to you.
Yeah. Because
there was like an off licence in their cab office, and it wasn't that expensive. And then you give them your empties, and they'd give you got money back for it. But where we was in Fallingboston, like we had Hanover was probably about 45 minutes maximum away.
Yeah.
Which was a good city. It's a small city, really nice city. If anyone wants to visit Germany, that's a nice place to visit. You had Hamburg, which was probably about an hour and a half away. That was the place to go.
Yeah.
My dad actually said when he dropped me off at Stansted Airport, he dropped me and my mate off, and he went, this is when we first came to Germany, he went, make sure you go to the Reaper Barn. And I thought,
yeah.
I got there, I thought, you dirty old man. It is just pubs, strip clubs.
Isn't there a place with 9 floors or something?
Places with all floors. Yeah. But you've got like I say, you've got like a normal nightclub.
Yeah.
And then next door to that is a shop that sells axes and CS gas and that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember that from the... yeah.
And next door you've got a shop that sells gimp suits and sex toys and all that. And then an Irish pub. I think it's Thomas O'Reilly's, I think it's called. But we used to always go to a pub called the London Pub. I just remember they had Newcastle Brown Ale on tap. And it was such a novelty because you don't even get that in England.
Yeah.
And it was cheap. And they let you sleep in there as well. So it's a 24-hour pub. And we just go, you drink until 3 or 4 in the morning, have a couple of hours kip. And I remember once the cleaner was lifting my legs up to like mop under my feet.
Bloody hell.
But yeah, it was just fucking mental. And the Germans actually quite liked us around there.
Yeah.
I remember one night, I was probably about 18, 19. I'd lost all my mates and I was in a London pub on my own, drinking away. And I remember there was about 5 of us and it was like a Polish bloke, a Hungarian, me, an Australian bloke. And we were just having a right laugh, all singing stupid songs, making songs up. And like I said, the Hungarian and the Polish bloke couldn't speak English. I couldn't speak their language. But we just had a right laugh.
Because this is the thing in Germany. Obviously, you don't really go home back to the UK, do you?
I didn't.
So it becomes more of a family.
Yeah, definitely.
And on the weekend, you go drinking. So I remember when I visited some of the boys at Humour, obviously, as you go up the ranks, you've got the corporal's mess and then the senior's mess, etc. But in Humour, in the block, they had the sapper's mess where one of the lads had turned the room into basically a bar. Yeah, it was just carnage. Like, as soon as I got there, to the minute I left, it was just full on. One bloke didn't sleep. Like, he was just on the piss.
Yeah, well, in the summer, because I just remember where we was right up North Germany. It used to get to like minus 15, 20 in the winter.
Yeah.
And you got 3 months of winter, proper winter, snow. And in the summer was just always beautiful. It's 30 degrees, never rained, 3 months of beautiful. And we used to drag all our sofas, fridges outside. And it was just brilliant. It really was. Our squadron bar, we all took it in turns running it. And like, I'd done a stint for about 6 months. And I remember, like, because at the end of the night, you had to hand the cash tin into the guard room. And I don't ever remember handing it in. And we always owed the bar money, to be fair. Yeah. And the bar staff never paid. We was always the most pissed. But we had a rule, when you come in the bar, you got to sniff a tablespoon full of gin.
Okay.
Up your nose.
All right.
And fuck, that's what sniffing is.
Yeah, funny that.
But it stopped all the wives coming down.
All right.
But, everyone had like a big red eye because it makes your eyes go bloodshot. It was horrible.
Yeah, I could imagine.
But yeah, that was the squadron bar.
Coming back to the UK, did you notice a difference?
Yeah, straight away, because like you said earlier, people didn't go home.
Yeah.
It was a big community of family. Got back to Tidworth and everyone went home.
Yeah.
Especially my regiment, because it was a southern regiment. Probably 70% were from the southwest. So they all bombasted on a Friday afternoon.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so there was a few of it. I used to go home once a month, so because it cost a lot of money to get home. And that's the thing, we lost a lot of money coming back from Germany. I can't remember how much it was, but it's a few £100 a month extra for being in Germany. Come back to England, lost that. Everything's more expensive.
And you're closer to home, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, I know my experience was up at 10 Squadron, a lot of blokes went home. Our big night out would be a Thursday. We'd go out and you'd still have to drum up a bit of trade to get blokes out, which pissed me off. And then Friday mornings would be combat PT or some sort of tab or whatever. And then you'd dart home at about 12:30. But yeah, I just remember Thursdays being the night out. There were weekends where boys were about and we'd go out on the town. But I remember that feeling of feeling frustrated because people wouldn't go out.
Yeah.
And it used to annoy me.
It used to really frustrate me when you found out people didn't go home. So they're in their block and they haven't come out on the piss.
You didn't even see them in the cookhouse. It was like, where you been?
Yeah. And I used to think, I used to get really wound up about it.
Yeah.
Start banging on their door at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And but I say, coming from Germany, and especially when we started getting new lads who didn't go to Germany, it was that camaraderie weren't there no more.
Yeah. I know we asked the question earlier on whether military drinking culture was harmless bonding or quietly destructive. And that was the thing. That was where the banter, like the banter and the forming of bonds was done.
Yeah, definitely. And you could be a quiet lad, but if you, when you've had a beer, if you do your initiation well and all that sort of stuff, people will talk to you then.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not right, but it's the way it is.
Obviously, things happen on the piss, like where the forming of bonds is made. Like, so having a scrap, like if you were out in the town and something happened and it kicked off, like you'd go and protect or stand up for your mate or fight together, whatever. And it's like, that's how bonds are made. Then I'll make up you going out nicking stuff and it's bonding together or like, I ain't going to grass him up. Or
like the nicking stuff, we used to take it down to Squadron Bar and it was like trophies.
Yeah.
Just random crap everywhere. We had this Indian, like Native American statue. It's probably about 18 inches tall, but we went to this steakhouse in Vales Road. It was like the next town to Fallinbostel.
Yeah.
It wasn't a military town, but it was quite a nice little town. But it was a steakhouse and we was in there and it was all like American themed. And I nicked this statue and we had it down the bar and we named him Passing Wind.
Passing
That's his Indian name. It's like, it was just full of crap.
Yeah.
We have a thing called Cambrai.
Yeah. Where you get woken up, you said, the Norwegian.
Cambrai Eve is all about nicking. And I was in Badger Squadron most of my time, so we had a stuffed badger and all the other squadrons wanted to nick that badger.
Yeah.
Like every squadron had like a, something. And that was the beatings you used to get. You used to go to another bar and everyone's got their eyes on you.
Yeah.
And then you go for something, grab anything you could, a plaque, even a pint glass out of their bar, just something. But yeah.
Do you have any stories of block parties? They must have gone on out in Germany.
Yeah. Well, I had one in my room once. My roommate Andy was like proper OCD.
Yeah.
Hated any rubbish. We'd be sat in bed watching a film and I'd have a 6-pack or whatever and I'd finish with beer, put on the floor, crack over another. He'd get out of his bed, put my empty can in the bin. And I'm like, just leave it on the floor. When I get up, I'll put it in the bin. Anyway, it used to wind me up. So he went on a course. He might have gone to Canada or something. And I was rear party. So we had a massive rave in my room.
Yeah.
And we fucking emptied every bin. I took a photo and sent it to him.
Yeah,
just to wind him up. But cleaned it all up and it was all good. But yeah, we used to have mental parties in a block though.
Yeah.
Everyone would just drag all their furniture out into the corridor. In a block in Germany, there was it was a block and it had 4 flats.
Yeah.
Each flat had about 10 blokes in. Most rooms are 2-man rooms, apart from 2 of the rooms were single man rooms, and they had an ensuite sink. If you was the senior mate, a full square, you got the room with a sink.
Yeah, all right.
You could piss in.
Hot and cold running urinal, wouldn't it?
One, yeah. But like I say, we'd all just drag our stereos and stuff like that. I had this stereo I bought off someone, like the old like stacking system.
Yeah.
And I had car speakers, all these speakers, and Don 10.
Don 10?
Yeah, D10, the radio wire. We used to have a reel of it on the back of the tank. It's like black wire.
What, black and tan?
No, it weren't black and tan.
Oh,
It was
right.
black wire, 2 wires.
Okay.
But I nicked a load of that, and I had all these cars. Anyone who was getting rid of the old car, I had the speakers out. So it sounded terrible, but it was loud. And
what was you like, eyeball Paul?
Yeah. So it was just, it was fucking brilliant, Germany was. But,
Yeah.
I remember like Egypt Squadron, their block was opposite ours, and they had a massive paddling pool.
Yeah.
And they were jumping out the top windows into the paddling pool. And then we all run over there and pissed in it. But no one gave a shit, we was drinking each other's piss, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in basic training, you weren't really allowed that at camp to drink, were you? I think phase 2 we were. So phase 2 for us was down at Jib Barracks near Fleet, down that way, just off the M3. And I remember, again, like some lads that had misses and that would be going home, and that used to piss me off. But we'd go out, and like as soon as you could, like we'd be out on the piss all weekend, and it was like, I don't know, there was just something.
Yeah.
Obviously, as a bayonet, you fucking in training, you ain't paid that much. Do you know what I mean? And I remember one of our DS full screws, fucking Scouser, typical. He'd like lend us Sprog Sappers money. It'd be like that. Oh, do you want to go out on the piss, lads? It's like, oh no, we ain't got no money. It's like, here you go, lads. Like, give us all like 50 quid. It's like, yeah, I want 60 back. It's like, bloody hell.
I remember once me and my mate Lassie, Captain Lessman, as he likes to be called.
Yeah.
We was left alone and we was pissed up. We'd nicked a barbecue. It was still alight.
Yeah.
I don't know where we got it from anyway, but we had no meat. So we poured all the coals out on the floor, and he decided he's going to walk along these coals.
Yeah.
And it didn't end up well. Yeah, he walked along these coals. I've never seen anything like it. Like the soles of his feet pretty much peeled off.
Yeah, I bet they did.
It was horrendous, and all we had was lager to pour on it. So he's pouring lager. What a waste of lager! But and the thing is, the next day he had a CFT, and he did it.
Yeah.
Fucking animal.
You could always find beer.
Yeah.
Like whether it was like in the squadron bar, or you'd have crates lying around the block. Even in the UK, you could always find a beer.
Emergency beer.
Yeah, emergency beer. And again, like I said, even if there was no beer about and you didn't have any money, someone would always be willing to lend you money to. There was no excuse, basically.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. And I was in before, like all the Wonga loans and that, but I can imagine.
Wonga loans, yeah.
All the payday loans must have been abused. While
armed forces, fucking Sprogs were bloody their best customers.
I know my thing was falling asleep in stupid places.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you had the drying rooms in your blocks.
In
Germany, we had these drying rooms, and I'd always wake up in a fucking drying room.
Yeah.
And oh my God, that's the only time I really remember getting hangovers, because it was so hot in these drying rooms, and I'd wake up on a radiator. I woke up in a van once on that photography course I spoke about. I woke up in someone's van.
Yeah.
I just remember this brummy banging on the door, and he's saying, "What the fuck are you doing in my van, mate?" He was good as gold to me. He went, "You from the camp?" I went, "Yeah." He went, "I'll give you a lift."
Yeah.
So
well, I told you that story of my mate Sam Stone Street out in Germany getting woken up and he'd broken into some German family's camper van.
I don't think I broke into it. I think I was just trying doors and this one was open.
You do, yeah.
So I rolled up in a load of dust sheets.
Do you know you said about who was your mate that was out hungover tabbing?
Oh, Lassie.
Captain
Lessman.
So you just spoke about Lassie who...
he makes his kids call him Sir.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, they stand to
pervert.
attention.
Well, you mentioned that he went out tabbing the next day, still pissed out of his face, and I remember so many occasions of that. And I remember one stands out in my mind where, so I was a bit of a racing snake, like I was quite a fit lad. I could run, I could tab and that, and I think I'd had about, I don't think I'd slept. I was still pissed at the start of this 8-mile CFT, right, to the point where I'm at the back of the troop, sort of tabbing along with the slightly more overweight and less fit individuals, and everyone's taking the piss. The PTIs are going, fucking hell, Mendelson, what's going on here? And then they've clocked me because I stink of booze. All the less fitter individuals in the squadron are going, Stu, come on, look at me, like that. And I'm like, you fucking wanker. And basically for 7 miles, I was hanging out at the back, barely holding on to the squad sort of thing. And I remember the last mile, I just like sobered up. Obviously, I'd sweated all the fucking alcohol out of me, and I was off again. Like, come on in, lads, you fat bastards. Let me have it, I tell you.
I remember once I was woken up. I don't remember it actually. I was told I was woken up. I'm on my skid and Louis Miles. They was walking back from the bar and they see this. It was snowing. They just see a lump on a parade square, and they brushed it off, and it was me.
Yeah.
Thank fuck they woke me up because I probably wouldn't be in there.
Yeah. Bloody hell.
Yeah, it's stupid, isn't it? And, yeah, things like that must happen. Well, you had that RAF lad who went missing, and they believe he got into a bin.
Oh, yeah.
Years
I
ago.
remember that. Yeah.
Never found him again.
Yeah.
That's the sort of thing I'd do.
Yeah, he probably got picked up by the binman and put in a landfill or something.
I hope it was quick if that happened.
Yeah.
I was that sort of person. Find somewhere weird to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, obviously, last week we spoke about punishments, and I used to go missing on the piss, but it always used to be, I used to end up at a party somewhere, usually round a chick's house or something. I never ended up in a bin or in a snow-covered parade square. But
even since I've left the army, I'm not as bad. The day I'm exchanged numbers with my missus, the next day we texted each other. And the day I've been out on the piss, and the next day she's like, "Oh, so where'd you wake up? Or where are you?" sort of thing. And I said, "I woke up in a flower bed."
bloody hell.
Yeah, so I'm still doing it as a civvy. And I remember once I got locked out of my flat, so I thought I was pissed at me enough. I could find somewhere to sleep. So I found a building site, and I was walking around a building site and I found a chainsaw. So I took it back to my flat.
As you do.
And I was trying to start it outside my flat door because I was going to cut round the lock.
Yeah.
Let myself in my flat. My neighbour came in. What the fuck are you doing?
Oh,
I'm trying to get my flat. Fucking hell. So I think I slept on his sofa that night.
Did you get it? I take it you didn't get the chainsaw started.
No, I'll give it to my mate.
Oh, yeah.
My mate Glenn had it.
Well, you should have joined the Royal Engineers, because there's a Royal Engineers chainsaw operators course you could have done.
Oh, yeah. They really are amazing. But to be fair, I've grown up a bit now, I think.
Are you sure?
Now, I used to wake up on trains all the time. I'd go out to piss in London and fall asleep and wake up fucking the complete other end of the line to where I wanted to go.
Yeah.
On a circle line, just keep going round and round. But yeah, that was something I do.
I remember talking about my 10 weeks out in Germany. So I was quite fortunate or unfortunate. So the B1 was either run at Senelager, or in the UK it was at Jib Barracks. And for some reason, being a UK-based soldier, they sent me over to Senelager. But I was loving it.
Yeah.
But it was the last B1 combat engineer course that they were running in Senelager. So the DS didn't care. There was meant to be a final exercise. There wasn't. All the tests that we had to do were scripted. It was like, all right, here's the answer, lads. By the way, you're getting top recruit. You're coming bottom. So it was amazing. So I literally spent 10 weeks on the piss. And by the end of the 10 weeks, like, I was coughing up blood. Like, it was that bad. Then I was like a kid in a candy store. Like, I'm in Germany. I just proper done the arse out of it. And I remember towards the end of the course, you have like that social, like you go, like, so we done go-karting. And me and this lad, Ben, we've been out fucking down Paderborn or whatever, come rolling in, and then basically got on the minibus to go-karting, absolutely steaming. Anyway, we've turned up at this go-karting place, and some of the dickheads on the course have fucking taking it seriously and all that. Fucking me and Ben had got into like the go-karting store, as it were, and Ben's turned round. Next thing I know, he's wearing an entire white, looks like the Stig off Top Gear driving suit. It's cost him the best part of €1,000. And he's just rolling round in his go-kart with a beer. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. We had a place called Schumacher's. It was Ralph Schumacher's go-kart.
All right.
I was up not far from Fallingbostel. And again, you could have a beer before you went. So 5-6 pints and go go-karting. Yeah. Just like bumper cars. Yeah. And they'd give you the checkered flag, which means, or is it black flag? And that means you've got to get off. No one give a shit. So,
Did you ever go to Senelager?
Yeah.
What was the bar outside Senelager? I'm sure it was like an Irish bar.
Yeah, it was like a Jock's bar, Paddy's bar, Geordie's bar. There was all sorts of bars, weren't there?
I remember being in there with Ben, and we were pretty steaming, and there was this para-reg bloke in there, and he was a unit, proper war-hardened face, and he's steaming, and we end up getting chatting to him, and he basically like calls us out. He says, because we're giving him shit, going like, Royal Engineers will fucking drink you under the table.
We invented everything.
We're fucking amazing. And so he's gone, yeah, fuck, you choose the drink or whatever, and we'll have a little competition and necking them. So I can't remember. It must have been like Jaeger bombs and that, or something like that. Anyway, started smashing them in. This fucking guy is like passed out, stood up at the bar, like literally like the old Del Boy moment on Only Fools. So anyway, me and Ben have thought, oh, fuck him, we'll leave him there, and cracked on downtown or whatever. When I came back into camp, this fucking para-reg bloke's outside the block I'm staying in, going, where the fuck are them two fucking bastards and that? And I'm thinking, shit. Fortunately, he didn't recognise me. But as I said, we didn't do anything anyway, but he's obviously woken up thinking we've given him a smack or something. But
about a year after I got out of the army, my auntie married a sailor.
oh, yeah.
But he got married, and it was in the Sergeant's Mess or something in Portsmouth. And I was at the bar, and me and Dog were there. So he's Rare Farm Army, and there's this sailor. And I said to him, hey, puff. And all that. I'm Army, yeah, I'm well hard. And,
Is that the best insult you come up with? Ah, you puff.
Anyway, so I said, I'll drink you under the table. I'm pissed as a fart as it is. He's gone, all right, we'll have a teleport. I went, fucking good. In. What is it? With nice Bailey's, whiskey, brandy, vodka, rum. Yeah, go on, double it. Give me 2 of them. So I fucking nicked it. Oh, you puffs. Walked off. Next thing I woke up in the morning.
Yeah.
I had to be put to bed. So I fell asleep. But I said, what's the teleport about? When it fucking teleports you to another planet.
Bloody
It fucking
hell.
did me. But apparently I've sat past that, farted, stunk the whole wedding out. So my brother-in-law, Dog, and my cousin had to take me to bed.
Yeah.
And he said he took my clothes off and I was wearing pants. And they'd gone right up my arse like thong.
Oh. Did you? What rank did you leave at?
Trooper.
So you never.
I was never allowed to.
So you never went to a mess do or anything.
I did, but not officially.
Yeah, because there was all those shit. Well, in the Royal Engineers, and I have spoke to other regiments, and it's the same sort of thing where, like you get the port, and it has to be passed to the left. When you pour from the bottle can't leave the table, and the bottle's also in some sort of box where you can't see how much is in there, and whoever passes the last bit, pours the last bit, has to buy another one. And it's just like you had to do that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'd be bust and probably thrown in Colchester or somewhere. It was just like these traditions that have been passed down from God knows where.
Yeah, no, I was banned from promotion a few times. So
Oh, is that your excuse?
that was my excuse. But I did go to a few. Halfway through, I just turned up.
Waiting on, weren't you?
Funny enough, when I had that incident where I banged that bloke out and got the week after, because that was a corporal's mess. I think it was a corporal's mess Christmas though. The week after, the sergeant's mess.
Yeah.
They was asking for volunteers, and my sergeant major volunteered me.
Yeah.
So I've turned up, and everyone, oh, for fuck's sake, just do pan bashing. I'm not going to hit people. I'm not. That's only because he was a wanker. And I hit him.
Yeah.
But so I had to wait on again.
I know. It comes up in every episode, but old Weymouth, Way Beefer.
Yeah.
Well, you could have some brilliant nights down there, couldn't you?
Yeah.
I think I mentioned it before. I think it's called Chickerell Camp, is where we used to stay.
I think I stayed there once because you have to do this like, MBC, your fitness tests.
Yeah.
It was called ITDs, and I think they changed it to MATs.
Mats and whips. That mats and whips were your yearly tests.
Yeah, because anyway, for some reason, my squadron, they arranged, because we used to do it in drips and drabs throughout the year, but they arranged we're going to go down there and do it all in a oneer.
Yeah.
So we just went out to piss for a week.
Yeah.
It was good though. Like I say, it's a nice little camp. I just remember the 1.5 PT, BPFA.
BPFA, yeah.
It was uphill.
Yeah. Well, the Chickerell Camp was on a hill.
Yeah.
It was fucking...
So I always used to do my 1.5 in about 10 minutes. I could always do it all right.
Yeah.
Never the fastest, but always passed. And fuck me, I was pissed up, and I've seen this 1.5 route, and I've gone, oh my God, like the finish line's uphill.
Yeah. Well, I remember there was many occasions coming back from Weymouth on the piss late, walking up that hill. But I remember like the Weymouth, it was just incredible, like clubs everywhere, bars. And I remember one, because again, it's that thing like you're out with your brothers, aren't you? And it's like you end up winding each other up and geeing each other up. And I remember one occasion, who's that Radio 1 DJ? Fucking like, old bloke, but he does like the R&B. Tim Westwood.
Tim Westwood, yeah.
So he was, he had a DJ set in one of these clubs, and I remember like we were like ruining him. Yeah. And my mate Tom, we all stood the opposite side to the DJ booth and that in this club. He's just launched this fucking empty bottle of Bud, and it's clocked him in the fucking side of the head and chest and that. And fucking, we've just darted and that. And like, you look back and you think, yeah, that's wrong. Yeah. And it could have, like, fortunately, nothing happened, as in he didn't get injured, but you think that could have gone very wrong.
I remember when I was doing my training, we used to go down there all the time. Bovington's not far from Weymouth, and there was this big nightclub. I don't know what it was called, but it was a shithole.
Yeah.
I remember one of my mates and a lady went in the toilet together, and she pleasured him with her mouth.
Yeah.
And then about half hour later, one of our mates met her, and he's got his tongue down her throat.
Oh, nice.
He didn't know. We was all laughing.
Yeah.
He told him the next day.
You weren't bothered.
Nah.
Was it stuttering Smithy?
Probably. But no, Weymouth's a bit of a dump, but it's a good dump.
I don't know.
There was another place called Grasshoppers or something. Did you ever go there? It was like a big pub. It was like a Yates's type of. I think there was a Yates's there as well.
In Weymouth?
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I couldn't remember for the life of me of any of the names of the
There
places.
was just loads of big pubs and bars,
Yeah.
weren't there? Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean. This club with Tim Westwood, I remember it was over 3 floors.
Oh, right.
But I'm sure it was like, I don't know, it weren't like a club as you'd
Yeah.
sort of, it was like a pub, but it was
Yeah.
like massive.
Yeah, I remember there was Harry's Bar was the main one.
Yeah.
Because we weren't allowed in there, so we all went in there.
As you do.
The army had banned us. I think there was a drug problem in there, so
Yeah.
they banned us, but we all went in there. It was a good laugh.
But I remember, as a raw engineer, so I've mentioned it before, we'd go on, some of our exercises would purely be construction exercises. So it's like being on a building site in
Yeah.
essence for like a few weeks. And I've mentioned going to the Isle of Isla, Tenby, places where you'd never go.
Yeah.
Like as a civvy, you're never thinking,
Yeah.
I'm going to fucking Tenby.
Yeah.
You'd go down there, and because you're with your like brothers, your family, all your best mates, as it were, you'd have cracking times in these
Yeah.
places where you'd never visit. Do you know what I mean?
And the locals either love you or hate you as well, don't
Oh,
they?
yeah.
They either love it because it's just excitement. Like you say, you got these places where nothing's ever happened.
Yeah.
And there's 50, 60 squaddies, acting like fucking idiots.
Yeah.
So they either get involved and they love it or they fucking hate it.
I've mentioned before, Chatham in Kent Brompton Barracks is the Royal School of Military Engineering where we do our trade training, but it's also the HQ of the Royal Engineers. And the Royal Engineers have been down there for possibly 100 years now, but prior to that it was Navy, because you've got the old naval dockyards down there. Yeah. Is that the theme tune for the... But the women loved you, the blokes hated you, and some of the bars down there. So for me, there was a place in Gillingham called The Zone, and you mentioned about not being allowed in places. So The Zone, it'd be on like orders that you're not allowed to go in the zone, and it'd end up changing its name slightly so you could get away with it. But the amount of times I remember being in there, I remember one time turning up. For some reason, the boys had been out a bit longer than me, so I was playing catch up.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. Like I remember
Did you
down
overtake?
well, fucking, I went running past them. Like I remember down in Zambuca after Zambuca, and put it this way, I remember being sat on the curb outside the club, and an ambulance picking me up and taking me to hospital, blacking out, and coming round. Don't know whether I had something cannula in me or something, pulling it out, telling the nurse to fuck off, and running out of the hospital. Like it was crazy.
I remember once I had a punch up. I was in Watford. My mates used to go there quite a lot. And,
Yeah, Scumford.
it was a good night out on the piss. And we used to get a limo because it was cheaper than cabs.
yeah.
It's something like 200 quid for a limo return, but we get 11 of us in there.
Yeah.
And you can have a drink in it. So we go to Watford a lot. And I remember once, I think my mate's little brother started a massive fight outside. And I had this identity bracelet. Quite a big one, and it had bollocks written on the name. And I remember punching this bloke. And I remember it come off, it broke. And I remember I made a fight, 2 or 3 blokes on me.
Yeah.
And I just see my bracelet shoot off. And it cost me about 500 quid. I was gutted. But then someone bottled me.
Fucking hell.
Then the police come and nicked me.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm fighting like multiple people here. And he was trying to nick me. And they was like, go to hospital. And I was like, no, I'm all right. And they was like, go to hospital or you're going to, like, because I had a big cut on my head, or you're going in the cell. So the ambulance took me to where my mum lives. Yeah. She lived around the corner from the hospital. So he looked after me.
Yeah.
I remember lying there in the hospital bed and I was like, I don't need a beer. Like, you've got a big hole in your head. I was like, ew. And they said, you need stitches. But I didn't. In the end, I just pulled, they gave me a wristband thing and all that shit. Yeah. Like all inclusive. I pulled that off and I had to kick through a fire exit. So I couldn't find, I was pissed. I couldn't find my way out. So I kicked the fire exit open. But it's all good fun though.
You said about fighting and that. So when I was up at 10 Squadron, so Leeming, so it's an RAF camp, like literally off the A1, and our closest town was probably North Allerton. And we'd have occasions where the boys would all be on the piss in North Allerton, or North A, as we used to call it. And I remember one occasion, and it was kicking out time in this club, and I'd walked outside, and there was civvy bloke, like suffering with a bit of mental retardation. And he was like, hello. And I was being nice. Do you know what I mean? I weren't.
Was he like a para?
Airborne. I weren't taking the piss or nothing. I was like, you all right, mate? Like, sound, you know what I mean? Being nice. And it was a fucking trap, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I turn around, there's about 10 of them there. And they're going, oh, what are you fucking saying to him and all this? And I'm like, oh, here we go. And so they've started kicking shit at me, and I've gone straight down fetal position like that, taking it. And a few of the boys were there. I've met, certainly one. So anyway, I'm in the fetal position, and I felt it go slack on me, so I'm up like a whippet, and I'm off. And I turn round, and my mate Sherb, he's going, Stu, and he's come out, it's like something off a cartoon, he's coming out of this, like, clouds and that, and he's been given a kick in. He's gone, Stu, you all right? And I'm like, yeah, mate, I'm good. I was in the fetal position. And obviously he's seen me get jumped and's gone, apparently all the other boys have got in a cab and that. He was on his own. He's gone, fuck this, I ain't having this, and jumped into 10 of them.
Oh, fair play.
And you won't get that in civvy, Stu.
Nah.
Like, brilliant. And as we said, that's where, like, those bonds are formed, isn't it?
I had a mate, Babs. There's two brothers, both called Babs. Well, their surname was Windsor, so everyone called him Babs. And the younger one, he... I think it was in Bremen. There's another place not far from Fallinbostel. He was in a nightclub, and all that part of Germany is all run by Turkish mafia.
Yeah.
And there was a midget on a dwarf, a woman on the dance floor. He picked her up and started dancing with her. Well, she was part of this Turkish mafia. So they took him away, and they chained him up and put him in a freezer.
Bloody fucking...
It was like
saying off lock, stock, or saying.
It was like an old freezer down an alleyway, and they locked him up, threw him in there, and left him for dead. And it's only someone found him because he was gone missing for a couple of days.
Fucking hell. Well, he was found in the freezer. Fucking bloody hell. Who was this?
My mate Babs.
Was he still in contact?
We're friends on Facebook.
Yeah.
I ain't seen him for years. He lives in Plymouth.
Fucking hell.
Funny fucker. Well, anyone from Plymouth's funny, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, yeah.
Happy people. Just
They are happy because they got fuck all down there.
They've got Dance Academy.
Yeah, the other one was, I know you mentioned about the old Bill. I've got mixed experiences with being pissed up when I was in with the old Bill. So some of them would like make an example of you. Yeah. But other times I had one good, so I think we'd come out the zone in Chatham and there was a few of us. And we weren't that pissed up, but you know what I mean, Mary, you don't go out and not get drunk there. And we're walking back to camp. And there was these two civvies on a moped. They kept like, I don't know, they must have been going around this block. So they kept speeding past us and looking like they were going to cream in. Anyway, I thought, I ain't having this. And they've gone past one time and I've just booted the back of the moped and they've come off and crashed. So we've like run off. And just as we were getting back to camp, fucking old Bill pulls up, blue lights on. It's like that, blah, blah, blah. Like, you've been seen on CCTV. I mean... integrity and all that shit. I've gone, yeah, that was me. And they've gone, right, sound lads, they're fucking idiots, these two. We're aware of them. Like, they're like, crack on, you've done us a favour. Should have done it harder.
I'm the same. I've been in a cell a few times, spent a night there. And I remember once I just come back from my second tour of Iraq and I got put my gunnery course. And we done shifts. You was either on earlys or late. So I think we was on the late, so we done 2 till 10.
Yeah.
So we finished work at 10 and we gone out in the piss in Salisbury. And I was in this nightclub, and one of the lads on my course was a gay lad.
All right.
But basically, these two blokes had given him a bit of I think one of them whacked him or something. So he's our gay. He's a tank regiment. No one can. We can beat him up.
Yeah.
He was my mate, and because he was gay, they'd give him a slap or something.
Yeah.
So I thought, I'm not having that. I'm looking after my gay friend.
Yeah,
so
I get that.
I run in there, and I see these two blokes. I said to someone else, who are the blokes? I went, them two over there. So I run into them. I've done the best 2 punches I've ever done.
Yeah.
Left, right, knocked them both spark out. And I think I broke one of their jaws, broke one of their eye sockets. Like, really good punches.
Yeah.
And they was pilots in the Army Air Corps.
Excellent.
Anyway, I've done that. And I turned around and I see all the bouncers. I put my hands up and I went, and they was good as gold, the bouncers. They was like, yeah, we see it all happen. So I got taken to the police station, spent a night in the cell, got released on bail. A month or two later, I've gone back for my bail and I've shit myself.
Yeah.
And the cop has sort of done the interview and he went, basically, they was trying to press charges, get you done for assault and all that. But then we showed them the CCTV of them assaulting your friend for no reason other than he had like a Britney Spears t-shirt on or something.
Yeah.
And Yeah, so they dropped it. And as I was waiting for a cab outside the police station, this copper come out for a fag, and he's talking to me, and he goes, "That's a fucking good punch." I shook my hand. I think he said he was light infantry. Before. So
because that's the thing. Like you said, he said there, he's our gay.
Yeah.
And like even I remember being out on the piss, and even like the bloke that you'd be like, oh, he's a bit of a muppet. He's like a shit soldier. Always gets fucking picked up on exercise and stuff like that. I remember times when he'd get himself in a bit of shit, and you'd all pull round him. Do you know what I mean? Like it was that brothers together.
My missus has said to me before. She said like, I could slag off the Navy, the Air Force, logistics, whatever. Yeah. But no one else can. She can't. she slags off the Air Force. So it's like, we are that. We have got that respect for each other.
Yeah, yeah,
Not
exactly.
a lot of respect for them, French, but
you'd
some
stick
respect.
up for each other, wouldn't you? So yeah, they were some of the funner times, should we say, of military drinking culture. But we also wanted to highlight drinking afterwards.
Well, you know what? There was a gambling app or something, and there was an advert, and it said, "When the fun stops, stop."
Yeah,
and that should be the same with drink, really, shouldn't it? Because so many people I know, they go out on a piss and that, but then they go and drink alone.
Yeah,
listen to music, watch telly, whatever. And I did. I used to sit there watching before my missus, especially. I'd come home from the pub 11:30 at night, and I'd get a couple more bottles of beer out.
Yeah,
and I'd start watching YouTube videos, and I'd be watching like mortar attacks. In Badger Palace, and it's really sad. I'd sit there crying my eyes out. You know, I don't know. It's just weird. I can't explain it. But other people I've spoke to said they used to do the same. Watching documentaries, YouTube, just trying to. I don't know what it was.
It's like for me, I remember doing things like that. It's like it's almost forcing yourself into this misery.
Yeah, I don't know. Is that way of self-medicating? Is that why I don't know. But I did it anyway for a long time. And even when I was with my missus, we'd go for a drink, we'd go out somewhere. We'd come back, she'd go to bed, and I'd sit there, I say, watching YouTube videos of rocket attacks, IED attacks, mortar attacks.
Yeah.
Oh, it's weird.
Because I remember you saying last week about when we were talking punishments and realising that, like, as you said, like when you're serving, if you turn up hungover or still a bit pissed, it's perfectly acceptable. Yeah. But when you get to a civvy job, like, that's not acceptable. Yeah. And I know, definitely that culture of drinking followed me out, and I think it follows a lot of people out. They think it's because it's like institutionalised into you.
I've heard civvies go, you know what's right and what's wrong. But I joined the army at 16 years old, like a lot of people do. Like, I don't know no better. I didn't know any better, and I don't know. It's easier said than done, I think. Yeah. You get into a habit of it, and a lot of people can't sleep unless they've had a drink.
Yeah. I know a few people like that.
I couldn't sleep unless I had music on. Because when I was in the army, I always had my iPod.
Yeah.
Always had music on. I couldn't sleep without it.
So when I was in, I used to fall asleep with Babe Station on my cock in my hand. Now I fall asleep with I still have my like earbuds in my ears to go to sleep. But saying that, I think I've always had that since I was a kid. Like I didn't like silence, but I know, as you said there, a lot of people. It's civvies as well. Like that thing of the amount of people out there that get in from work and have a drink, glass of wine, and it's like, oh, I ain't got a problem. And fair enough, you might not have. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But ask yourself the question, if I was to come along and say, Steve, you can't have that glass of wine when you come in from work, you're going to go mad. Yeah. And you'll be like, oh, well, it's just one glass. And it's like, that could be a problem.
Yeah, the bloke I know used to live on magic mushrooms, basically.
Yeah.
He used to microdose. And I said to him, what's that? He went, I said, is it the obvious, like a little bit, but frequently? He went, yeah. I said, why? He went, I don't know. I don't need it. And I said, well, what happens if you don't do that? He went, well, I'm all depressed. And I said, you do need it.
Well, there you go, yeah.
So
don't get me wrong, microdosing, there is quite a bit of evidence out there. Microdosing mushrooms and stuff like that it's not going to cause the problems that having drink and getting pissed up, because the effect drink has on society is astronomical.
Yeah, but it's when you can't, I'll say there's nothing wrong with having a glass of wine every night, but if that wine gets taken away and you're depressed or can't sleep, then that's when it is clearly a problem.
Yeah, of course. So, but some, you think, so there are diseases out there that require people to take regular medication. Yeah. And you could argue you take that away, then it's going to cause them problems. But by them taking it, it's not having an impact on their lives or a negative impact.
Another example I can give, it's completely not alcohol, drugs, nothing, is exercise.
Yeah.
Exercise is really good for you. And my reason for not exercising is because I don't want to get addicted to it.
Yeah, exactly. But
I know I've got one of my best mates, Fox Pierce, like he's like a bodybuilder, semi-pro. I don't know what level, but he goes into competitions. And if he doesn't exercise, he gets really down.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. Addiction takes many forms, and there's the substance misuse, like your alcohols and your cocaines and your heroines. There's your behavioural ones, like gambling, gym.
I think the gambling's probably the worst one.
Yeah, well, it's fucking everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah.
Going to the gym, and even like
Train spotting.
well, yeah, I mean, fucking hell, and like relationships. There's a thing called codependency where you rely heavily. Like basically, you're using the other person to fulfill your happiness.
I've known. I don't know if that's the same what I'm talking about, but I've known people that have to have a girlfriend.
Yeah.
And if they haven't got a girlfriend, their life is like it's got the shit. They don't even have to like their girlfriend. They just have to have a girlfriend. It's weird. Whereas I was the opposite. My whole time in the force, I didn't want a girlfriend. Like that's the last thing on my mind. Just did not want that relationship.
You tend to find that people get addicted to whether it's substances or gambling or relationships because there's something missing in their lives. Like don't get me wrong, alcoholism or addiction in general is not the problem. Like it's a symptom of a problem underneath. Yeah. And like you can see it there, like that need to, I have to have a girlfriend. If I don't have a girlfriend, then what am I? Do you know what I mean? That fear. Obviously, I am a fully fledged member of the addiction community, alcohol and cocaine, and I now I'm coming. Do you know what? I reckon in a few weeks I'm 2 years clean and sober. How about that?
I think you should give yourself a round of applause.
You reckon? Thank you.
No, fair play. Look.
And now I work in the drug and alcohol service.
You're a dealer.
Now, well, yeah. Do you know what? Interestingly, I never dealt. Like I think I dabbled a bit, but never. And I'm grateful for that because God knows where I'd have ended up. But
do you know what? When I left the army, it shocked me. Cocaine is everywhere.
Yeah,
I was shocked. Like old people, like you go to Weatherspoons and two old blokes come out. Like I'm talking blokes in their 70s or 80s coming out of the toilets together. It was everywhere. I was really shocked and like not so much around here, but where I lived, it was so bad. Everyone was on it.
Yeah,
and it's like I say, so easy to get hold of.
This is the thing for me. When I was sniffing coke all the time, I could, like, to me it was normal. Like because I hung around in them circles, it was just. For somebody not to know where to get it from was weird. But yeah, it is rife in society.
I've seen people just get it out and do it, not even give a shit in a pub. Do it on a table. Saying I was in Benidorm a few years ago, and me and my missus, and there was they weren't even young. They're probably in their 50s. A group of Geordies they were from the northeast.
Yeah,
and they had kids with them, and they was in a like a pub club thing, and they was just doing it on a table.
Yeah,
didn't give a shit.
Yeah, I've been at weddings in church, saying your local church over there, the old one. I've been at a wedding there, sniffing it off the pews and that. I mean, I can't change anything, but when you look back, you think, fucking hell, that's bad.
Yeah, but then they drink alcohol in church.
Fucking hell, exactly. And there is an argument, and I don't want to bore everyone, but there's a very detailed research paper which shows alcohol is the most destructive substance, as in massively more destructive than heroin or cocaine use. And because it's alcohol so ingrained in society, nothing really gets done about it. Yeah. But to the point where if alcohol was invented tomorrow, it'd be made illegal.
The government earns a lot of money out of tax, though, don't they?
Massive.
Well, you've got the product itself, but then the sugar tax that they put on everything now.
Yeah.
They earn a lot of money out of it.
Yeah, it's great. And you think that the cost it has on the NHS and police force is incredible. So I think Steve's got some questions for me about my hedonistic party days, and hopefully, I mean, I guess it may be a bit serious, less light-hearted, but it may help some people because I think we've been contacted by a few people saying, well, the whole point of why we brought up doing this episode was because somebody reached out and said, "Oh, consider doing an episode on alcohol," didn't they?
Yeah,
or am I just making that up?
No, you did. Yeah, one of my mates did. He's just recently come out as not like that. He's he's I think he got told he's type 2 diabetic.
Okay, yeah,
borderline, but he's managed because he carried on drinking. He left the army after 22 years, I think. Carried on eating, drinking, like he was in the army, but not exercising, and he put on a lot of weight and he got told he's close to being diabetic. So he spun his life around. Fair play to him. He's going to the gym. I think every day, 5 days a week, he goes to the gym. He's eating lettuce.
Rabbit food.
Yeah. Living a really boring lifestyle.
Yeah.
But no, he's spun his life around and now he's sort of, he's not diabetic, I don't think. No, he's turned it around. So
that's
fair
good.
play to him.
Yeah.
But he don't, like you said, he doesn't want to stop drinking. and he said he's Scottish, so if he stopped drinking, his family would disown him.
Yeah.
So he's just trying to nip it in the bud early, you know, get back to a healthier body condition.
Yeah.
And then he'll crack on drinking again, but he'll keep exercising and eating healthy.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, you know, like you kicked the arse out of drinking.
Yeah.
Completed it.
Yeah.
And you don't want to drink no more.
It was the whole lifestyle. Like I think you mentioned it before about being a flash git, and that's what it was. Like I had my payout, I had a roof over my head, and then even when I started, I was earning a hell of a lot of money, and it was just I wasn't happy. It was like what I need something to make me happy.
Like when I left the army, I was meeting people in the pubs, like mates of mates, and I just think you wankers, like they've got fucking Rolexes, tag wash, you know, 50 grand's worth of stuff on them.
Yeah.
But everything's on, you know, credit cards and stuff. And I just think, well, you're drinking in a shithole pub.
Yeah.
Like, who are you trying to impress? Whereas like my shirt come out of peacocks, you know.
Peacocks.
Yeah. I mean, I just like I don't really care. You know, I'm living for the moment, sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good way to be, Steve.
Yeah.
Fire.
Right, Stu, I've got some questions for you, but it's like a quick fire. So
Okay.
I don't want you thinking about it. I just want you a few words answer. So, was it drugs and alcohol that you had problems with?
Yes.
Right. Did you know you had an addictive personality?
No.
How old were you when you first started regularly drinking?
Regularly drinking, bloody hell. Maybe 13.
Oh, really? Well, did you know you had a problem when you was in the army?
No.
What got you into drugs?
That can't be really quick, but so I think 13, 14, which was what for me was late 90s. So there was a bit more slackness in checking IDs or anything like that. So started going to some pubs. I think by 17, I'd probably done my first ecstasy tablet. And then I think maybe a year after 18, maybe I first had my first line of cocaine. But it was arguably for the right reasons. I mean, weekends, it wasn't affecting my life detrimentally. I wasn't like smashing it all through the night and not sleeping. It was like down the pub or recreational, as we say.
Yeah.
And that carried on for a bit.
What drugs was you addicted to? Was it just cocaine?
Yeah, just cocaine, yeah.
Do you blame your injury for your addiction?
No.
Do you miss it?
As we sit here today, no.
Good.
So over the last 2 years, especially in the early days, I'd have thoughts about, I'm gutted I'm never going to be able to do coke again. I wouldn't say I miss it, but that thought of never being able to do it again used to piss me off.
Well, I suppose the feeling you got when doing it was a good feeling. So
yeah,
why wouldn't you do it again? You know,
yeah. But think so, and this sounds hippie or whatever, but do you know the feedback we've had at the breakfast?
Yeah.
And do you know when those old boys are going, they're like, "Oh, see you later, Steve. See you later, Stu. Oh, thank you for this." That is better than any high of cocaine I've ever had.
Yeah.
Like fucking incredible.
Yeah, I'm the same. I was walking around Bovington Tank Museum the other week with my missus, and we got a text on a WhatsApp message, and it was that bloke saying he's been in the process to get made redundant.
Yeah.
And we've made him feel better.
Yeah.
Well, if that's the only thing that comes of what we're doing, then I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all my questions. I say the other thing is just anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I've got something else. I just wanted to read out some of the NHS guidelines and advice on alcohol, which people may not know. So the recommended intake of alcohol per week is 14 units, and that's for both men and women. Some people think that men are able to drink more, but that's not the case.
What's a pint? I always forget this.
So we're going to come on to that.
Oh, okay.
And another thing is those 14 units should be spread out over the course of the week. It's not about having 14 units in one day. So a unit of alcohol, Steve, is half a pint of low to normal strength lager, beer or cider, or a single small shot, 25 ml of spirits. A small glass of wine contains 1.5 units of alcohol.
Well, that's not a lot, is it?
No, it's not.
I'm not the sort of person who can just have a quick beer. I don't enjoy just having a quick wine. If I'm going down the pub to have for half hour, I'll have a pint of Coke.
Yep.
Other brands are available. No, because I'm a binge drinker.
Yeah.
Always have been. One good thing about the statistics you said, the numbers, is because of the sugar tax, all the breweries have lowered the alcohol content.
Oh, have they?
Yeah.
So it's become like, fucking, was it light beer like you get in the States?
I don't know. Say, for instance, Budweiser was 5%. It's now 4.8. So you can have a bit more.
And the thing is, so obviously there's a difference between being an addict, having problematic drinking, and just drinking a lot. Because I've still got mates now that they'll go out Friday, Saturday night, they'll have a line or two of cocaine. come Sunday, because they got work the next day, and they won't do it. Problematic drinking comes in when it's fucking says it on the tin, doesn't it? When it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
So if you feel like you could be misusing alcohol, or you've got problematic drinking, like, can you relate to any of these? You feel you should cut down on your drinking. Other people have been criticising your drinking. You feel guilty or bad about your drinking. You need a drink first thing in the morning to steady your nerves or get rid of a hangover. So it's things like that. If have a think about those questions, and if that applies to you, if you're sat here thinking, shit, I am a bit worried, or my missus keeps having a go at me, then maybe, and it's not definite, but maybe you've got a drink problem.
Yeah. I think the fact that we associate, drink problem is such a terrible thing. Obviously, it's not the end of the world. Like,
No.
It's such a negative thing to hear problem.
Yeah. I get that. And you're not alone, because look, I ain't being funny, and I know I sit the other side of the fence, but when an entire nation has dry January, that says to me that where people are having to consciously not drink, I'd say the nation's got a drink problem.
Yeah.
And then on the 1st of Feb, they're all getting smashed out their peanuts.
Yeah, I think so. I think what is the point of it?
If you don't want to drink, don't drink.
Yeah, exactly,
If you want to drink, you want to drink.
My old man was a dustman. Now, my old man, before I was born, he was a drinker. Like, he learned to drink in the army, like everyone else did. And he met me mum when I was young anyway. And my mum says, like, she'd clock him at the bar, and he'd be getting around the drinks and another shot. He'd have like a shot of rum, brandy, whatever.
Yeah.
But not tell anyone. And it went on for years, 20 years, whatever. And then my mum gave him an ultimatum, like, either stop drinking or I'm leaving you leaving with the kids.
Yeah.
And he stopped drinking before I was born. So I never got to have a beer with my dad. And don't get me, my dad was always, I don't know how he done it, but we go to weddings and parties, and anyone who knew my dad before he got ill, he was a life and soul of the party. He was up dancing, acting like a prat. You'd think he was pissed.
Yeah.
But he used to just drink Coke.
Yeah.
And I never understood it, because I can't do that. If I don't drink, I'm boring. Like, that's quite sad. But
you're not bored, Steve.
no, but like weddings and things like that, I wouldn't be up dancing with my tie around me.
Do you know what I've done the other month for the first time sober?
Go on.
Karaoke. That is entirely
sober karaoke.
Yeah. That's brave. That's courage.
That is courage. Yeah. No, but like I say, I never got to have a beer with my dad.
Yeah.
And it might sound really sad, but it's affected me.
Yeah.
Like, it's just one of the things. Like, I'd love to have been out going down the pub with my dad.
It's a rite of passage, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean,
but my mum and dad always hated me and my brother and sister drinking. I'm the youngest.
Yeah.
They always hated it.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, when I was very young, I'd always puke up, and my mum, I'd wake up in the morning, my mum sat on the floor in my bedroom asleep.
Yeah.
And she's worried that I'm going to choke on me sick.
Yeah.
I know it's what most 18-year-olds do, but it's
well, by all accounts, apparently not anymore.
and it's a good thing. It's not good for the breweries.
No. But yeah, we're going to, like, as I say, if you can relate to any of it, or you want to ask more questions, obviously send us a WhatsApp. Right, so Steve, have we had any messages come in about the booze, the old booze?
Yeah, I've got a funny. I've got Stuttering Smithy.
Yeah,
I think we should rename just Bottle.
He's been belt feeding your messages.
Yeah,
Phone's been going mad.
He don't stop all these voice notes, and there's not much stuttering going on. So, but yeah, he sent me some funny ones, and a couple of other people sent me like some quite serious ones.
Yeah, go on.
I'll read them out. So I'm not going to say any names, but anyway. So one of my mates said, "Army and alcohol culturally go hand in hand, especially around the times of operational tours. There was always an excuse to go out with the lads, drink and have a laugh. Looking back, it was obvious that it was a coping mechanism." And he said when he started drinking on his own was when it got at its worst. He was posted to Harrogate as a platoon sergeant after Afghanistan. He was always the last to leave the mess and the first to say yes to a night out. If he wasn't out drinking, he'd be home drinking alone, putting the world to rights, watching documentaries and videos of Iraq and Afghanistan on YouTube.
Yeah.
He said, that's the same as me.
And the guy makes an interesting point about isolation and drinking and using on your own, and that's where it took me. I mean, you think cocaine's rock and roll, cocaine and booze, rock and roll party like a rock star. In reality, it took me to sitting in my flat for days on end, not eating, in my pants, not washing, twitching at the curtains, thinking, what the fuck's going on out there?
Yeah. That's the thing. I'd imagine your mates you're doing it with, they was working.
Yeah.
Like you say, come Sunday, they're stopping. Well, you're carrying on.
That's it, yeah.
But he said when he looks back at his life, most of it was around drinking, getting smashed at the weekends, especially in Germany. And we weren't just drinking; it was ridiculous amount of drinking.
Yeah.
Till you're pissing yourself. Yeah. Did however have a great laugh and has great memories. He stopped drinking to have a laugh and drank to forget. He drank so much he wouldn't remember anything. If he wasn't out with the lads, he was alone drinking. His wife and kids would find him asleep on the sofa in the right state. And he said he feels ashamed that he's put them through that. But he eventually asked for help when he was in the army. He asked for help with his mental health, and the army medically discharged him.
Oh, lovely.
So it's not our problem no more.
Yeah.
He said that was another stress, and it made his drinking even worse. And he said suddenly the career that he enjoyed come to an end. And he said he had no home, no job, and no future.
Yeah.
He got the opportunity to do resettlement, but where he lived, there was nothing. So he'd have to travel a few hundred mile away to do the courses. He wanted to be a gas engineer, and he didn't want to leave his wife and kids to do that. So he paid for it. He didn't use his resettlement. He paid for it himself to do a course.
Yeah.
What he didn't really realise was you have to have experience to get a job in that industry. And he didn't. So he ended up going from a platoon sergeant at Harrogate. He's done all these resettlements, so he's a heating engineer, qualified. Couldn't get a job, so he was sweeping up the floor in a dog food factory.
Oh, they all.
There's nothing wrong with that, but to go from the top to that, it really made booze become his friend even more.
Yeah.
But it started affecting his personal life. And then after a few years in Civvy Street, and he found a more suitable job, he was able to control his drinking. And he doesn't drink at home anymore, and he allows himself to go out.
Yeah.
Once a month, he keeps busy. Well, once a month, sorry, he goes out drinking. Doesn't have to, but he just calms it down a bit. He keeps himself busy now, walking, playing golf, and he spends time with his kids.
Yep.
And he said he honestly feels better and wish he'd sorted this out years ago. But he looks at life differently and realised there's more to life than just getting pissed.
Yep.
He wasted so long being hungover, and it's easier to say yes to a drink than no.
It is indeed.
He finishes with he did have some bloody good times though.
Yeah. That's the thing, isn't it? Yeah. And there's no harm in looking back, realising that you did have fun times.
Oh.
I had fucking loads of fun times, fucking sniffed off my tits, fucking pissed out my face in Vegas or Benidorm or all these glorious places. But yeah, for me, it took me to that dark place.
Yeah. Well, you look at Mick Jagger and Keith Richards.
Fucking hell, still going, aren't they?
But they get a blood transfusion every year.
Yeah.
They got money to sort their medical stuff out when you're at home, like you say, not eating in your pants.
Yeah.
It's not good for you.
No, it's not.
It's not good for you if you're a millionaire. But
yeah. I don't know what to say.
I've got another one as well from someone else who was in the Air Force, and he said the motto was the Royal Air Force turning the flower of youth into alcoholics since 1918.
Yeah.
That's what they knew it as. And if you didn't drink, you didn't go away. Simple. You were expected to be a lad and get smashed every night at every detachment.
Yeah.
I duly obliged, of course. No good story ever started with, remember that night we went for a lemonade? And he said his dad learnt to drink in the army, and he was semi-professional when he died. It might be different now, but when I was in, it was just big boys drinking club.
Yeah.
He struggled with feelings towards alcohol these days. He can't ever just have a few. If he's having a beer, he's having a good beer.
Yeah.
He's having a load. And as he gets older, it makes him feel like shit. He doesn't sleep properly, and then he's all grouchy the next day. The cycle carries on. He doesn't exercise after a beer. He usually eats shit and food for the day after, but he still does it.
Yeah.
The longest he's done without drinking was 6 months, and he felt amazing. He slept well, lost weight, more productive, and a lot happier. But he soon remembered how to drink.
Yeah.
And then when he first moved to where he is now, he went to a quiz night with some of the village dads, and he felt properly out of place. And he said he was drinking 2 pints before they was halfway through their first. He found himself just sipping it, and wanting to tell them to stop being gay and drink up. But that's the difference. People drink to be sociable, whereas falsies drink to get pissed.
Yeah. There's been some quite heavy stuff here, so we're Steve's found. He's got fucking Smithy has been belt feeding Steve.
Yeah. There's too much, but we're going to save them for. We'll have to just trickle them in over the next few weeks.
But we've got one, so this is a.
I was drinking a cup of tea and I had to spit it back in the cup.
This is Stuttering Smithy's story.
There was another one when I shit the bed. It wasn't on a night out, but it was due to a night out. I think I'd been in Andover or something, and I got a kebab. So I was sort of like, took it back to the room, fucking steaming, ate it. Next day I'll wake up and I'm a mess. I'm fucking bad guts, white, pale, shivering. So anyway, I'm watching telly and I've been I'm feeling bad, but I'm farting loads. So anyway, like I'm just watching the telly, but I'm like, I used to watch like, I just used to bowl around my like room and like eating like starkers, So anyway, I'm there watching telly in the booth, and then the next thing, I farted. I thought it was just a fart, casual, nothing too mad, because I've been farting all morning. Next thing, this fucking shit flies out, right? But I was facing like my back to the wall. The fucking speed that this shit came out, the thud on the wall, right? So I'm there. I heard the thud before I felt the warmth of the shit on my back. It was that bad. So anyway, I'm fucking panic. I'm screaming, running around. My neighbour, Daz, comes out. I'm there, naked like fucking Gollum, with shit up my back, right, with these 2 Dettol wipes, doing shit angels on the wall. Honestly, that was a low point in my life.
Fucking hell, my jaws hurting.
Oh. He was getting excited. I could hear the stutter coming. Fucking explosive shitting. It's amazing, isn't it?
It is,
That's
yeah.
where alcohol leads you, though.
Shitting up the wall.
Oh. So yeah, we've had quite a few come in, especially from Smithy, but we'll trickle them in over later episodes. So yeah, now we've got the second contestant, your mate Little Mick, who I interviewed and questioned the other week. Let's listen to him taking on my Royal Engineer challenge. Right, question number 1. What is the nickname of the Royal Engineers?
Sappers.
What does the motto Ubeak mean?
Everywhere.
He's confident, isn't he? Which year were the Royal Engineers officially formed?
Oh, fucking hell. Oh. 1872.
Oh, okay. What colour is the Royal Engineers stable belt?
Red and blue. Or a colour or a shade of.
Okay. What was the major contribution of Donald Bailey, a Royal Engineer during World War II?
Bailey Bridge.
that was an easy one, wasn't it?
I thought you said Donald Trump, man.
Donald Trump, yeah. There you go. You must know this one. Which Royal Engineer officer played a key role in the real Battle of Rorke's Drift, famously depicted in the film Zulu? Oh, look at him, he's frozen.
Chard.
And what was his rank?
Lieutenant.
Yeah. There you go, here's an interesting one. What does REST stand for in the Royal Engineers? REST.
Royal Engineer Search Team.
You must get this one. What was Royal Engineer Officer Ernest Swinton credited with inventing?
Steve, this one's for you. The tank.
Right, going slightly harder. How many Victoria Crosses have been awarded to the Royal Engineers?
4.
And finally, there's only
Name
10.
them.
Name them. Finally, what does MGOB or MGOB stand for in the Royal Engineers?
Medium girder overbridge.
So those are the 10 questions. Thank you very much, Mick.
That's not bad for 15 years.
Yeah. So yeah, that was Mick Knowles doing the quiz. And do you want to know who's won, Steve?
Yeah, go on. It's got to be Mick in it.
No. The winner is Sapper Tom Wellard.
Oh, what a legend.
We give him a round of applause.
Yeah.
Mick's going to be gutted.
Yeah.
What do you reckon?
Well, I'm quite glad.
Yeah.
He seems to be my nemesis.
You're looking forward to meeting him, aren't you?
Can't wait. I'm looking forward to shaking his hand, leaning down and shaking his hand.
All right, so that was the Royal Engineers quiz. Sapper Tom Wellard is the champion. Actually, when I spoke to him, he said if he does win, he wants a bit of merch so we can take a picture and make a wedge out of his head or something.
Yeah, it'd be nice, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe Steve can sort that out for you. He's in charge of merch.
Yeah.
So we come to the point of the show called the Bravo Zulu Shout Out, where we talk about a organisation or person doing good things for veterans. And in the theme of today's episode of alcohol and some of the trouble it causes, we would like to mention Tom Harrison House. Tom Harrison House is a residential rehab up in Liverpool, and it's the only residential rehab in the country that is specifically for veterans. As I've said previously, that this is the place where I attended almost 2 years ago now, and having attended other rehabs and tried other methods, Tom Harrison House worked for me. And being in that environment where you're surrounded by fellow veterans and therapists that understand and have worked with veterans, I found it really worked. It was in a different league to the other rehab I went to, and the first rehab I went to was the Priory in North London. And I mean, if you compare it, I was in the Priory for 4 weeks at a cost of, I think it was about 24 grand. Fortunately, I had private healthcare at the time, so that covered it. But within 7 days, I'd relapsed. And not only is it a residential rehab, they do retreats for veterans. They've got funding from the military covenant, so they run regular retreats over long weekends several times a year, not specifically around booze or addiction. It's a chance to do some therapeutic processes, get out into nature if you're struggling. And the Muster Point podcast, Beyond the Wire, which we keep threatening to do, we're going to have an episode of that highlighting the work Tom Harrison House do. I urge anyone listening to this that thinks they may have a problem or a family member that served, then reach out to Tom Harrison House directly. And as always, I'll put the details in the show notes and link it in. But yeah, they're doing great stuff up there. And for me, as I've said before, I wish I knew about them sooner. So if you're struggling or somebody you know struggling that's a veteran, get in contact with them. Yeah, so that was the Bravo Zulu shout out in this week's current theme, talking about alcohol. So what we spoke about this week, Steve?
Booze.
A
Drugs.
little bit about drugs.
Yeah.
I mean, alcohol is a drug.
Yeah, true. Yeah. So is coffee.
So is coffee. Yeah. Well, caffeine, yeah.
And I found out a few years ago, actually, how bad caffeine is for you. So
Yeah.
I tend to drink decaf.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. When I'm at home, because I drink so much tea, I drink decaf. When I'm
Yeah.
out, I drink hardcore tea. I'm
Don't
off
tell
my
me the
tits.
stuff you've been giving me is decaf.
No, that's the good shit. The Colombian. No, but I notice it when I go to work. We've got vending machines and I have tea, and it picks me up. Because I drink decaf at home,
Yeah.
it does pick
Gives
me
you
up.
a proper kick in the
Yeah.
knackers.
It does, yeah. I end up running round.
Yeah, so we've been talking about booze. We started off with the good times, and this is the thing. There were fun times, and it's like, even for me, that's obviously gone through rehab, and I'm an alcoholic, I'm an addict. I'm perfectly fine. Like, I had some good times on it.
My dad was like you. Like,
Was he?
no, he was a right pisshead, and I think he went to AA meetings and all that sort of This
Yeah.
would have been early 80s probably. He could go down the pub. It didn't bother him. And I think you said, like,
Yeah,
I've been down the pub, but, my dad never drunk. I said he used to like Caliber.
All right.
Disgusting. Non-alcoholic. The worst thing I've ever drunk in my life.
Yeah.
My dad used to like that, but he was quite a bit of drink Coke.
Yeah.
And, it never stopped him going down the pub. In
Yeah.
fact, he was always down the pub on a Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening. He'd go down the pub with my mum, and it never stopped him. So it's some people I know, they won't even be around booze.
Yeah.
And that's when it's sad.
Yeah. I mean, as I said this, I don't have a problem with anyone drinking. If you want to drink, that's your business. And similarly, the fact that I don't want to drink is my business.
Yeah.
The amount of times, but especially one mate I go football with, he gets pissed off at me. He's like, "Oh, ain't you having a beer?" He's like, "How can you go out to football and not have a beer?" And I'm like, "That's not my
I used
problem.
to
It's
feel
your
like that.
problem."
Yeah, I used to feel like that years ago. And do you know also, like, when I was in the army, especially, because I didn't drive and I was just pissed all the time. If I had nothing to do, I'd go find a pub.
Yeah.
And I'd sit in that pub and have...
It's easy, isn't it? Like, and this is the thing, booze is everywhere. And I didn't mention this earlier, but one of my bugbears, so my local Sainsbury's, there's 4 aisles of alcohol, spirits, wine, whatever.
Where's that?
And there's only 2 aisles of fruit and veg.
Yeah.
And that to me is a massive sign of the nation having a problem with booze, because it's just crazy
And
when you
know
look at it
what,
like
I'm
that.
not complaining, but it's so cheap as well in the supermarket. It's like, I went to France in July And I was shocked how expensive it was in France.
Yeah,
Whereas
yeah.
it used to be peanuts in France. Everyone filled their car up. It's cheaper over here now.
Oh, is it?
A lot cheaper, yeah. In the supermarkets, that
But
is.
this is the thing. I think they. I know certainly in Scotland, and I think I saw something in the media the other month about they're increasing the minimum price of booze and that to try and combat problematic drinking. And you're getting the wrong end of the stick, because if somebody wants to drink, putting up the price of booze won't stop it. Like, they will drink. And I was in rehab with somebody, a severe alcoholic, ended up in hospital several times. On one hospital stay, 'cause obviously he can't access alcohol, he would drink the hand sanitizer because it's got alcohol in it.
I've done it on tour. Can of Coke, put loads of pumps of alcohol. The first time it's a wreck, because I've never heard of alcohol gel.
Yeah.
It's a novelty over there. Now we've had COVID, everyone knows what alcohol gel is, but then it was unheard of. And I remember, putting 10, 15 pumps in a can of Coke. You couldn't even taste it, and it got you pissed.
Yep. Yeah, we've had a bit of fun around the drinking, and then we've talked about the more serious side of it. And then, as I said, if any of you can relate to what we've been talking about, then reach out and we'll send you in the right direction. Obviously, we spoke about Tom Harrison House, and again, I'll put their details in the show notes, etc. What else has there been?
We've had, obviously, people have texted in, written in, and Smith has sent us fucking hundreds of funny videos.
Yeah. We've had the Royal Engineers quiz where Sapper Tom Willard came out victorious. I will mention that you may notice that we haven't done Muckers Remembered. It was just aware that I think this is going to be a long episode, and we didn't have any,
not like personal connections.
Yeah, personal connections.
I was going to say, unfortunately, no one died this time of year.
Yeah. But
fortunately,
because like Steve made the point that it's nice where either Steve or I have got a connection to the person, or we get sent in a message from someone that's, do you know what I mean? Like, we want to keep it connected. I mean,
but luckily, my old man kicked the bucket
next
year. So.
Next year.
Sorry. So we'll have someone to mention. Yeah. So thanks, Dad.
Cheers, Mr. Black. Yeah. All right. Before we stash this one like a crate of contraband in a locker inspection, we want to hear from you lot. This podcast isn't just about getting nostalgic over mess bar antics. It's about sharing the stories, struggles, and absolute chaos that came with culture soaked in beer, banter, and bad decisions.
Yeah, we know we're not the only ones who've woken up wondering where our boots went, or realised you're in someone else's room, still wearing your mess dress jacket and one sock. So tell us, what's your most legendary drinking story? What was your unit's go-to drinking ritual or most chaotic night out? And how did it all hit you once you left service life behind?
Send us the lot, funny, messy or meaningful. Whether you've got a tale of a night out that became regimental folklore, or you've struggled with leaving that culture behind and want to speak up, we're here for it. Voice notes, messages, or even a blurry pub photo, we'll take it.
Find us on Facebook at the Muster Point Veterans, X at the Muster Point, TikTok at the Muster Point, and YouTube at the Muster Point Veterans. Or drop us a voice note. Tell it like you would at the bar, just without the dodgy karaoke in the background.
And if you're working in addiction recovery, veteran support, or just being that mate who checks in when no one else does, we want to hear from you too. We'll give you a proper Bravo Zulu shout out in a future episode.
Make sure you subscribe to the Muster Point on your favourite podcast app. Leave us a review if you're feeling generous, and share this episode with your mates. The ones who still think a hangover is just a mild inconvenience.
Next week, we're back with another belter, so don't miss it. Right then, hooray! Fall out!
You heard him. See you next week.